tax returns or the debanking of our company. My father is a real estate developer, true and true. I've built more ballrooms, and my father has built more ballrooms than anybody. There's no one who will do it better than Donald J. Trump. I mean, I've used those very chandeliers that you see in the picture right there. We've literally used them before. This is going to be the most incredible gift that Donald Trump can give the United States. This is going to get massive amounts of use. By the way, from a security standpoint, this thing will actually pay for itself many times over, because every single time that they need to hold a function, either they have to put up that tent that you mentioned before in the intro, or they have to go off-site. You know how expensive it is to travel with the president, with obviously all the security apparatus and everything else, versus keeping it right there at the people's house where it should be. But again, Rob, this is free. My father's paying it for it. You know, he's gone out and he's literally fundraised for it. How great is that? And by the way, there is no person who will build a more beautiful structure than Donald J. Trump. And I have to say, I've seen the plans for this many times. He sends them over because him and I, we've spent our entire career bouncing plans back and forth. You know, honey, what do you think about these bathrooms? What do you think about this ceiling detail? You know, what would you do over here? And I can say I know the plan extraordinarily well. It is spectacular. This ballroom is going to be absolutely spectacular, and it's going to be something that serves this country for hundreds of years.
Does he call you honey?
He does, and he jokes about it. He goes, listen, you know, my kids, they're in their 40s. My son Eric, he's 41 years old. No matter what, no matter how old they are, they'll always be honey, right? They'll always be my kids. They'll always be honey. And he always does.
Yes, yes. Let me ask you. So I'm just curious about this. So again, I think you're what, a third generation? You've been in construction and building your family 3 generations, dating back to your grandfather,
That's right.
The president's father. Would there be a way? I guess there's no way to, if you're at the Hotel Washington roof deck looking down on the East Wing, you can take photos. But would there be a way to better sort of hide the worst parts of the construction and demolition? Because it was just, you know, people could take photos at one point from street level, and it kind of fed into this whole thing that Donald Trump is taking a wrecking ball to the White House, which he's not.
Yeah. I mean, for everybody who knows the White House, I think you would admit you've been there 100 times. The East Wing was never exactly the epitome of the White House, right, to say the least. There's always the West Wing. It's always obviously the main building. It's not until people actually understand the White House they really understand kind of how it all plays together. And you might show it in a graphic here, but, you know, obviously the center is the residence. Obviously, what you see on your left-hand side there, that's obviously, you know, the Oval Office, and that's where most of governments run. That's across from the Executive Office building. You know, the East Wing was one of these things that was just totally underutilized. That ballroom is going to be absolutely spectacular. Listen, Rob, I don't think you could have shielded it. And by the way, nor do you want. When you start seeing these columns go up, when you see the superstructure go up, it's going to make people's jaws drop. And when you see the ornate ceiling detail, when you see the plaster molding, when you see the chandeliers, when you see the marble work in there, when you see the bathrooms and the details and the mirror details in that room, when you see these 3-story cased windows, vaulted windows, right, when you see the stone columns on the exterior, this is going to be one of the most spectacular ballrooms ever built in the world. No one else could pull off what Donald Trump is doing. No one else could build to this quality.
The audacity of President Trump, the Doge, White House renovations to save taxpayer money by raising private funds. So he doesn't have to go down to Mar-a-Lago or White House South, as some people call it, to entertain dignitaries from around the world. You know how ridiculous that sounds, folks? That's how Democrats sound.
That is how they sound. This is going to be a major improvement for the United States, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. It looks beautiful so far.
I can't wait. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
You're watching First Edition, only on Newsmax 2.
Rick Leventhal reported on the biggest stories of our time. Now he's fighting to bring you the truth, no matter what it takes. Watch The Leventhal Report, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax 2.
Hi, folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
It's the Medicare Annual Enrollment Period Challenge.
You have Medicare Advantage questions. Let's see if our contestants have answers. Medicare Part C plans, which typically offer additional benefits not included in Parts A and B, are commonly known as what?
Medicare Advantage plans.
Medicare Advantage plans is the right answer. How can you find out what carriers have Medicare Advantage plans available in your area?
using the number on your screen to make one call to find plans in your area.
Yes, absolutely. Just one call could do it all. And who will walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options?
A licensed insurance agent.
That is correct. Round 2. Name 2 features of Medicare Advantage plans that a licensed insurance agent will help you find from multiple carriers.
Benefits and options.
Yes, indeed. Now, with just one call, you can find a Medicare Advantage plan that fits your blank and blank.
Needs and budget.
That's true indeed. Remember, just one call could do it all. What are 2 things that you might save when a licensed insurance agent helps you compare plans?
Time and money.
You got it, time and money. Here's the final question. When can all Medicare-eligible individuals call to compare Medicare Advantage plans?
During the Medicare annual enrollment period, which is right now. And it's free to call.
And you are our trivia winner. For a limited time, you have the opportunity to make a call for a free, no-obligation consultation. So call the number on your screen right now and connect to a licensed insurance agent who can help you find a Medicare Advantage plan that meets your needs.
For a free no-obligation consultation, call 800-899-3958. 800-899-3958.
Guess what, folks? Americans love to take pictures of their pets. And here are some first edition pups.
There are some first edition pups. I'm in awe because I saw some of mine. A new study by Rover.com shows we take more pictures of our pets than the humans in our life, maybe because pets are better than humans and they're great and we love them and they're adorable. So those are all our first edition pets. They're beyond cute.
Well, people consider pets as part of families.
They are.
You know, I even see these commercials, Krisha, where, you know, the food that's actually cooked and prepared and packed is actually table-ready food, but for pets. So none of this spray-on flavor and things of that nature. People are actually cooking and treating pets like family members.
Yes, and those are my 3 Scotties just there, and it's so cute that they really get.
You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for San Rafael and the North Bay. Seen on KQSL 17 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Look at Norfolk, Virginia.
Tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Yes, sir. Welcome to Relaxville right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the only thing missing is a hammock.
There you go. It's the calm before the storm.
Yeah, we got a storm coming in.
Yeah.
A atmospheric river.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Heading our way.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, why can't we put a hammock between those 2 trees?
I think we could.
Yeah, there you go.
I think so.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Always a lot in the news. Always the twists and turns of life in this world.
Yeah.
And incoming storm could be quite active along the Pacific Northwest. We'll get you an update on that. Anything special today?
Well, first of all, it's National Pharmacy Buyer Day, something I never really quite think of, and that is recognizing the professionals who keep the pharmacy shelves stocked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
okay.
Are those shelves in the back, in the front, both? How do you plan how much medication you're going to? I wonder how that works.
Well, it's highly regulated.
I imagine it is, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. But God bless them. It's your day.
Keep your shelves full. All right. So also national.
I just want to know if the pharmacy prices are really coming down.
That's a good question. I think it depends on who's involved with TrumpRx.com.
Okay, so I have to go there to get my pills?
You'll find out, yes. And apparently, you know, they keep negotiating deals with different pharmaceutical companies, and I think different products are coming online there, but I'm not sure what it is yet. But you know, what a concept. TrumpRx.com.
All right.
Moving on. National Food Day. To remind people to eat real. A call to action, everyone, to discover the joys of food that is both delicious and wholesome. You know, we continue to cut back on sugary drinks, overly processed snacks, and we make room for vibrant vegetables, juicy fruits, whole grains, and sustainably raised proteins.
All right.
What is a sustainably raised protein?
A thicker piece of steak.
That sustains me even better.
A 3-inch steak.
Rare, medium rare, or well done?
Medium rare.
Okay, yeah, me too. All right. Speaking of eating real, how about National Bologna Day?
Oh, really?
I'm not talking about people, or what they bring to us sometimes. Yeah. But, however you pronounce it. Yeah, Bologna.
Bologna.
Or bologna. It's perfectly fine either way. And but it's the original Italian sausage. And, boy, a lot of people eat a lot of bologna. Oscar Mayer made it famous in America. And
that song. You don't have that song.
Yeah, the rest. Oh, look at that. There's a lot of bologna stacked on that sandwich. Yeah. And speaking of bologna, I have some bologna fun facts.
Okay.
Did you know the very first bologna originated in Italy? And it's still made there, but it wasn't called Bologna. Italians called their Bologna mortadella. And making of and eating a mortadella is a beloved Italian tradition. It's been one of their most popular treats and meats for thousands of years. It even fed the Roman army.
Really?
The name mortadella derives from the mortar and pestle that was used to grind up the myrtle berries and the pistachio nuts into the lard and pork that makes the mortadella.
Ooh, that's hard to look at in the morning.
I know. Bologna, the name we call it, is named after the city where it was originated. And the production of mortadella is so serious in Italy that the Pope in 1661 got involved in issuing restrictions and legal definitions regarding the product. In Bologna Simone Laboratorio, there is a framed decree from a governing body called L'Arte dei Salatori that translate roughly to this. It says, if you make fake mortadella without the approval of the Salorelli, your body will be stretched on the rack 3 times, you will be fined 200 gold coins, and all the food you make will be destroyed. That's if you make counterfeit bologna. Your body will be on the rack, stretched 3 times. This, a decree from the Pope.
Okay.
This bologna is serious business.
Okay, well, I tell you, we're seeing some pretty graphic images here today.
We're watching how bologna's made. And, after you watch that, you might not eat as much.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's kind of like you don't really want to know how sausage is made.
Yeah, right. Or you know what the difference between hot dogs and bologna?
Nothing.
Pretty much just the shape.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, enjoy your bologna today, and that's no bologna.
Okay. Well, here's a guy that's full of it.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With the first in a series of fronts moving over the top of our region, today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, showers with daytime highs in the low 60s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, and near 59 in McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy and high temperatures near 61 in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis with the south wind gusting up to 21 miles per hour. Showers in Eugene with a high near 64. In central Oregon, a slight chance of rain with a high near 70 in Prineville, a chance of rain with highs in the low to mid-60s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, mostly sunny in low 70s and breezy this afternoon. High surf advisories and showers and breezy along the Oregon coast with a high near 62 in Coos Bay, 59 in Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s in Crescent City, California, with the south wind gusting up to 33 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, a chance of showers in near 67 in Grants Pass, a slight chance of showers in Medford and Ashland with a high near 67, and mostly cloudy with highs in the mid-60s in the Klamath Basin. Into northern California, mostly cloudy with a high near 69 in Wairika, partly sunny from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs in the low 70s and a light southeast wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny with a high near 70 in Santa Rosa and near 69 in Napa. Partly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 68. And today in San Jose, patchy fog, then sunny with a high near 72. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Okay, and there's a picture of Portland this morning. A little cloud cover over the top, beautiful city lights, and right now things look pretty calm there.
Yeah,
we'll take that, okay.
Especially in this slice of it.
All right.
Beautiful city there. All right, well, time for some encouragement as Billy Graham points the way to the one bright spot of hope, and that is Jesus.
God came to him and said, Noah, I'm going to give the world 7 more days. 7 more days to repent. And if they don't, the judgment is going to come. The Bible warns that the world is in for judgment. And the bright spot on the horizon is the resurrection of Christ and his promised return. It's the hope of the prophets. Isaiah 66, it tells that the Lord is coming with fire and chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger and fury. In the New Testament, there's so many passages that I could take an hour reading them to you. Christ said, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. And where I am, there ye may be also. One of the TV programs to top the Nielsen ratings last week was Highway to Heaven. The only highway to heaven in this Bible is Jesus Christ. He provided a way to heaven. He provided a way of salvation. He said, I am the way. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. Can you imagine somebody standing up and saying, I am the way and no man can come to God except through me?
Mm-hmm. That is the stumbling block in all religion.
Yeah.
That's the stumbling block.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I remember Billy Graham being interviewed by the late Larry King on numerous occasions, and Larry King kept coming to that verse and saying, do you believe that? He said, absolutely. Then I remember Larry King using that verse to have other notables on, and I could name some names here.
Oh, okay.
And they wouldn't answer it.
Oh, really? Oh.
You know, well, God knows, God knows who's, all the, well, this is the stumbling block. This is why we have the anti-Christian movement in the world, because the only way to heaven is through Christ, and there is no other way. And so when you try to manufacture another way, there's an article yesterday in one of them preparing for this morning. And I want to say this carefully, but it basically said that President Trump deserves to go to heaven because he's end 8 wars. No.
Oh, no.
He could bring total global peace. That will not get him to heaven. He has to accept Christ as his Savior.
Okay. Well, I know that people, that's a big stumbling block for a lot of people. They say that's, Christianity is too exclusive, ignoring the exclusivity of other faiths. But what is ignored is, the only way to heaven is through Jesus, but a relationship with Jesus is available to everyone.
Yes, and that's the factor. And then you stand the cross. Okay. All right, good morning to you. Happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. And I tell you, this story broke yesterday. It's kind of got things shaken up.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a gambling problem within the NBA, and some major people have been caught up in it, and our own Portland Trailblazers head coach.
Yes. Yeah.
This is really big. And Kash Patel responds. Here's what he had to say.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Casa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people from money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played.
Whoa. We'll have more on this coming up a little bit later on, but it did take down the Portland Trail Blazers head coach. After the first game, they lost their first game. He was implicated in this, and he's out.
Yeah.
This is serious stuff, and it's serious and sad, isn't it?
Yeah. I would like to know. I want to see this unfold and see how deep it is, and exactly how it did unfold. How did they get onto this? How did the mafia get involved in this? How did these coaches, and there's a player that just got suspended as well. I'm waiting for the rest of the story.
Yeah, this is big. So it's uncovering. The other story is, the government's still shuts down Gay 22-23, making it the second largest government shutdown, heading towards maybe the most. The longest one. But Virginia Governor Glenn Youngstown came into the picture, and I think he kind of really emphasized something yesterday that puts a lot of pressure on the Schumer shutdown, and that is that he had to declare emergency in the state of Virginia because 850,000 residents now will not get their food stamp access. Mm-hmm. And this is a big deal, and it was highlighted at the White House. But look, all signs point towards the Democrats. This is a Democrat shutdown over free health care to illegals. I mean, it boils down to that. Mm-hmm. And
right.
Now they're holding America hostage, and individuals, innocent individuals. And of course, they're going to try to hang this on President Trump and all this and that. But I think this is really, really wearing thin with the American people. They see through this. They know what it is. And I can't help but think that behind the scenes, the Democrats are saying, what in the world are we going to do to get out from underneath this mess?
These are the SNAP benefits that are next to be withheld. The other thing that just happened as well is Democrats squashed a move to be able to pay government essential workers, air traffic controllers, and others who are continuing to work through the shutdown. And the Republicans wanted to find a way to pay them. Democrats thwarted it, and so now not only SNAP, but essential workers aren't getting paid.
Well, see, this is interesting. So it's gone beyond the original argument of health care for illegals, as it was in the extended mandates, or so to speak, in the Obamacare.
Right.
They actually voted for people not to get paid. I mean, you would think that during negotiation you could at least pass this to take the steam off.
Yes.
But no, and they're not letting people get paid, and they're not going to let people eat.
And again, let's remember that these are provisions that were sunsetted. They were supposed to expire at the end of the year here. The Democrats had control of the government when they passed these. Why didn't they make them permanent then?
See, I think America now knows.
Right.
And so the hypocrisy. They're in a mess. And if they continue down this road, it will be disaster. And it already is pointing to be disastrous for them there in the midterms.
I think so.
All right. The other story is that Senator Grassley yesterday, and this is working with Jim Jordan over on the House side in the Judiciary Committee, they released a memo that goes back to 2022. Where then the Biden administration Justice Department showing that Attorney General Merrick Garland, then Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, and FBI Director Christopher Wray personally approved an FBI investigation into the alleged effort of President Trump's campaign associates to obstruct justice and the certification of the 2020 election, the whole January 6th thing. But what they find out, this was a concerted effort. They went after him, and now we know that January 6th is just plagued with problems. And these guys actually now they're connecting the dots that this was a manufactured event which they could go after the president and get him, and it's falling apart. And here they are now proving that all three of them were involved. Wow. This is. Can you believe? I guess you can.
Yeah.
That we're that corrupt in the United States.
Yes.
You know, we've lost our innocence, have we?
Oh, man. It's sad. It's very sad.
All right, one other little story. This will continue to unwind today. But as you know, the President Trump and the Prime Minister of Canada were getting together to kind of work out the trade talks and tariff talks and all this and that. Well, Canada released a political ad throughout their country that quoted the former President Ronald Reagan saying that how supposedly tariffs are free trade, that he was a proponent of free trade and all this and that. And President Trump saw the ad, pulled all negotiations, stopped everything with Canada, stopped all trade negotiations, and even the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and libraries involved in saying that this stuff might have been hacked and misused, and lawsuits will fly.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So Canada's even playing dirty.
Yeah.
I tell you, politics, it just makes you so sick. But folks, look, I hope you understand one thing about politics. It's designed to make you sick so that you don't get involved and you throw up your hands. But what's at stake here is your country.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what's at stake here.
Yeah,
all right, those are some of the top stories on a beautiful, windy, stormy, atmospheric, rainy river stream.
It's coming, man. It's coming.
Okay, now it's a stream. It'll turn to a river.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Big ideas grow.
I went to KFBK. That's the station that Rush Limbaugh got to start at, and I helped that station become what it is today, which is the #1 news talk station in Sacramento. And then we had the opportunity to buy a daytime AM station in Southern Oregon. It was licensed to Ashland, Oregon, KDOV. I quit my job and sold my house and bought the radio station.
The Dove Radio, 65 years.
He couldn't detect two separate babies, like two separate sacs, for sure. And so he looked at me and said, it's almost like they're conjoined. I was terrified. I was scared. That was a prayer that I also prayed, like, God, give me peace. Help me get through this, to know you gave me these girls, and you knew from the beginning they were going to be conjoined, and I trust you.
Friday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Welcome to Fish Lake Resort, where adventure is everywhere, and everyone is your friend. The fishing is great, and the food is tasty. The RV sites are full hookup, and the cabins are cozy. It's always a good time at Fish Lake Resort, and the best part is, You can come visit any day of the year because we are open all year, 7 days a week. Visit fishlakeresort.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Tarnished.
All right, good morning to you. 21 minutes now past the hour on a beautiful fall Friday morning. And, well, this story about the gambling going on inside the NBA is really bad. And it has now implicated the Trailblazers head coach, Chauncey Billups. This is really sad. And but I don't think we understand how entangled this thing is. It seems to be really big, and it seems to be really involved. It almost makes the Pete Rose thing look like it was nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
the Pete Rose thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, that had its issues and it kept him out of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But this seems to be really tangled up.
Yeah, this one I don't understand. The Pete Rose one was pretty easy. I mean, he bet on teams. He didn't bet on his own team, but he bet on other teams.
So there was a little panel on the NBA network. They had this little panel, and some of the guys were there talking. I think we have a little snapshot of it. Listen to this. This is really interesting about NBA players talking about this gambling problem. Here's what they said.
I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. How much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. You know, put a bad image on yourself or your family.
We have to realize gambling is an addiction. So the addiction of it is what makes you make illogical decisions. Ain't got nothing to do with addiction. That's just total stupidity on these two dudes' parts.
All right, so you had three major guys there. You had Barkley, you had O'Neal, and I don't know who the middle one was. I didn't catch the name there. The one who called it an addiction.
Yeah.
Now, I think he brings up an interesting point, if I can say this. Hopefully it comes out right.
Okay.
I understand addictions. And we can bring Doug Gould in here. We can bring Stephanie Mendenhall in here. We can talk about addictions all day long, okay? But sometimes when you are given the term of an addiction, it's an excuse of non-accountability.
Interesting. Okay.
Now you're tagged with something. Now you're a victim. Now you get all this attention, and you get excused for what you just did. So Barkley got a little upset there, and he said, no, this is stupidity.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Right.
Okay. When you get involved in something that you know that's illegal and you know is wrong, and even a person who's involved in an addiction, there's that moment where they know that it's wrong, but they choose to go through it anyway.
Here's what I want to find out. Gambling's legal. You can gamble, what, in every state? There are, Native American casinos. Right. You can go to Vegas. You can gamble online. What on earth drew them into illegal activity through, whether it be an addiction or anything else? What happened here? Well, I mean, gambling's legal. What did you guys do?
Okay, first thing they did is they laundered money. And
Why?
And they're buying and paying things under the deal. Now the question is, here's the.
Well, now that's a whole different thing, because what I'm hearing so far is this is about poker.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody's mentioned games, but if you mention games, you're talking about banishment, lifetime banishment. You're talking about some serious, you're talking about Pete Rose stuff here. Yes.
Okay. Woo. Well, even Ron Wyden, Senator Ron Wyden, who was a basketball player during his college days, he loves the game, loves the sports. He's pretty upset about it, and he should be.
Yeah.
I know Senator Wyden. He's a nice guy. He just, I don't like his politics, but he's a nice guy. And so he's upset about it. So the whole thing's kind of falling apart. This has got more story coming out on it. It's really a mess. It's really a mess.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the satellite image and what's going on up there. And according to Mr. Baloney Head, that is a lot of rain out there.
Yeah, boy.
And it's over the top of us.
Yeah.
When's it supposed to kick in?
Well, we're supposed to start getting stuff moving in tonight.
Okay.
And tomorrow's looking pretty rough. We have 80% chance today, but it is, again, moving in later in this afternoon. 100% chance of rain tomorrow, a high of about 54. 50 and more rain on Sunday, but clearing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Starting to cloud up again on Thursday before another round, Friday and Saturday. So we definitely have rain coming our way, but 'tis the season, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's what we got going on. Well, Representative Dan Mauser, Republican from Pennsylvania, reacted to this clip of President Trump on Fox Business's Varney and Company and discusses the Democratic Party's radical shift.
Mr. President, do you think that the government shutdown is all about this rally that's happening this weekend, the No Kings rally?
No, I mean, some people say they want to delay it for the king. This is
more
not a
than
king. You know, they're referring to me as a king.
And if they opened up the government, they'd have these radicals down protesting Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And I'll tell you what, Stuart, this isn't just some grassroots group that's claiming that they're trying to save democracy. I mean, you just mentioned it's the Communist Party of America, but it's also the American Federation of Teachers. It's Indivisible, which is funded by George Soros. Yep. These are serious anti-democratic, state-controlled types of advocacy groups that truly are based upon communism and want state control, the furthest thing from democracy. So this is, and here you got, the leadership of the Democrat Party out there, this is their base. But it's actually serious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, here comes November 1st, and I don't know. I see the Republicans finally holding tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And they need to do this.
Yeah.
And I don't think the president's going to let them negotiate anything.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, the tide is turning against the Democrats, primarily because of what you just said earlier, and that was when they start voting down minimal compromises to move negotiations forward, like letting people get paid until we figure this out.
Right.
That blows up in their face.
I think so, too. Yep. And then, you look at this No Kings rally thing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously highly organized, highly funded. I read overnight that it estimated this cost George Soros about $300 million for the No Kings rally to organize it. $300 million. Does that number ring a bell? Isn't that the estimated cost of the big, beautiful ballroom? And who's going to have something to show for their money when this is all over?
Okay.
The big, beautiful ballroom.
Well, listen, I don't think America has ever been forced, at least in my lifetime, that I can remember, and I'm not certainly the smartest guy in the world, but I can't remember my lifetime where we've had a president that forced us to think business.
Yes. Yes.
Like this president.
Yes.
Now, you may hate his guts. Okay, have a nice day. That's fine. But the point being is, he's been so consequential as an ROI, a return on investment.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get this thing called America Business accountable, make it responsible. And when we've had so many entitlements, and those entitlements get cut, people are going to go crazy.
Yeah.
But you got to bring this thing. What would America look like? Why don't we do a documentary? What would America look like going bankrupt?
Oh. Well,
somebody say, well, it'll never happen. Well, think about this, folks. Okay, one of the mysteries to me on this is that you take great American people with their innovation, they create a company and it becomes greatly successful.
Mm-hmm.
And you can name them. You can Apple. You can do Amazon. You go right down the road.
Okay.
These are great Americans that did great things.
Yeah.
And then they get so rich and wealthy, they lose their brains. They fall out. And now they want to propagate socialism, which is the very thing that will kill what gave them birth.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And it's a mystery to me why they do this.
Let me ask you something. You asked a really big question. What would happen if America went bankrupt? What's the definition of bankruptcy? Is it
bankruptcy is when you spend more than you're taking in.
Aren't we bankrupt already? I mean, we spend way more than we take in.
We're in receivership.
Oh my gosh,
okay?
Yes.
But the thing about social, I mean, Margaret Thatcher said it best, it works great until you run out of the other people's money.
That's true.
Okay, well, if you bankrupt the people who were paying the taxes, then the system falls apart.
Well,
and your enemies come in and take over.
Well, watch it unfold. It's about to happen in New York City.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, So what are you going to do this weekend? You put a log on the fire and sleep?
I think so. I'm just going to chill, let the warmth of the fireplace and the hot cocoa, and just sit there. And
do you put a little steam pot on top of your wood stove?
My wood stove doesn't have a top on it.
Oh, you're an insert?
It's a fireplace.
Okay.
It looks like a fireplace, and it's got a box in a box that's got. It's basically like a wood stove furnace.
Okay.
Because it's got a fan that blows through, and it got. Oh yeah. Okay. So anyway.
Well, there's nothing like going into a cabin or a house or something that has the wood stove freestanding.
Oh yeah. Well,
okay, which is the dry heat.
Right.
And then on top they usually put a little pot in there.
Right. We used to do
and
that
then they drop some cinnamon cloves in there.
Yes.
Or pumpkin.
Some kind of a nice aromatic. Yes. Oh, it's lovely.
Are you feeling it?
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah. We instead now, because we don't have a freestanding stove anymore, so we can't do that. Aromatherapy. Those little wax things,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a little.
And you know what else we do? Because we don't do real Christmas trees anymore. When we put up the plastic one, and we put a little pine aromatherapy on that thing.
There we go. All right, we're going to take a fake break. We'll be right back.
Oh, yes.
The Dove's brand new studio is complete, and you've made it happen. To give you an in-person chance to see this important milestone, the Dove is hosting an open house Wednesday, October 29th from 10 to 1 p.m. at our studios. Hope to see you.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Thousands of satisfied customers make Jim Clark's Consignment Country the most recommended RV consignment lot on the West Coast. Even dealers recommend us. That success comes from dealing with only the cleanest pre-owned RVs at the best prices, no high-pressured salespeople, and treating customers with respect. And we've been doing this in the same location for over 40 years. Before you buy or sell your RV, see why so many satisfied customers recommend Jim Clark's Consignment Country. Family owned and operated at 1630 Rogue River Highway in Grants Pass.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Welcome back. 25 minutes before the hour. A new term popped up yesterday.
What?
BB-sitters.
What?
BB-sitters.
BB-sitter? What's that?
People being sent from the United States to surround Benjamin Netanyahu not to get out.
BBC. Okay. All right. Yeah.
They're called BB-sitters.
Oh, I like it.
Check in with CBN Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch. Thank you for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Today is Friday, October 24th, and we're going to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. The steady stream of U.S. officials visiting Israel continues with the arrival of Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Thursday, just after Vice President J.D. Vance returned to the United States. It's left many wondering if President Donald Trump is sending what they're calling BB-sitters to make sure his peace deal does not collapse. CBN News Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more on our top story from Jerusalem.
Israel
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Secretary of State Marco Rubio shortly after his arrival. His visit comes on the heels of Vice President J.D. Vance and negotiators Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. President Trump visited last week.
This is a circle of trust and partnership. You've been an extraordinary friend of Israel, and now we face days of destiny. We want to advance peace. We still have security challenges, but I think that we can work together, and by working together, both address the challenges and seize the opportunities.
Rubio noted that it's just over a week since President Trump's work led to the release of 20 living hostages and a ceasefire, the first phase in a multi-step and complicated peace plan. Hamas also agreed to the return of 28 dead hostages, but 13 are still unaccounted for, leading to charges they violated the deal.
No one's under any illusions. We've already done the impossible once, and we intend to keep doing that. If we can, we have good partners that we're working on. But we feel confident and positive about the progress that's being made. We're clear-eyed about the challenges, too.
A small number of Knesset members put a strain on the U.S.-Israel relationship when they passed the first reading of a bill to extend Israeli sovereignty over biblical Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank. When asked if he thought the sovereignty vote would affect the peace plan, Trump said,
"They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything with it."
He also told Time magazine that Israel would lose U.S. support if that happened. The Prime Minister's office said the vote was a deliberate political provocation by the opposition to sow discord during Vice President J.D. Vance's visit to Israel. Tech columnist and Israel advocate Hillel Fold tells CBN News he sees the vote as part of a global political trend to tear down political leaders.
And so the opposition said, "Oh, here's a good way to give it to Bibi. We're going to vote for, sovereignty in Judea and Samaria and just annoy the vice president," which they did, and it worked because he said he was offended, which is a very strange statement to make.
Regarding Trump's statements, Fold says he believes Trump is a real friend to Israel, but that could change.
Unfortunately, right now, whether it's a right move or a wrong move to take sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, I think it's a little bit absurd, for lack of a better term, that the United States of America thinks it has the right to dictate to Israel a decision that's internal to Israel, let alone a security issue.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
For more on this story and other developments, be sure to tune in to Jerusalem Dateline. You can find it this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern on the CBN News channel. You can also watch it on the CBN News app and find it on YouTube as well. Here in the U.S., despite the ongoing government shutdown, the military still got paid this month, and this is because of an unusual funding workaround. Effects of the shutdown, however, go beyond paychecks. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke explains.
As the government shutdown entered its second week, President Trump ordered the Pentagon to ensure America's troops received paychecks. They accomplished that by using unused funds originally allocated for research and development.
President Trump cares about our service members and he wants to put them first. So does Secretary Hegseth.
Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson tells CBN News that while the War Department is committed to keeping the American people safe, the lack of funding is taking a toll.
We've got a lot of civilians across the War Department who are furloughed and who aren't able to come into work every day. And we've got people who are here working like myself who aren't getting paid.
The Heritage Foundation's Richard Stern, an economic policy expert, points to the impact on day-to-day operations of the military.
Things that are important for positioning forces, they're important for training, important for maintaining readiness, that again, when there's a lapse in funding, there just isn't the money available to procure the equipment for, or the fuel, or the other supplies that you need. And so while the military has some flexibility, and of course there's federal laws that allow for certain essential functions, of course, to continue even without government funding, it still starts putting a wrench in the works. It still starts grinding to halt, as you put it.
Okay, well, really, babysitters. Okay,
yeah, that's an interesting term. Yeah,
yeah, that could wear thin.
Yeah, especially with Bibi.
They better be careful here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see where this goes. All right, let's check out weather. We know where it's going.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With the first in a series of fronts moving over the top of our region, today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, showers with daytime highs in the low 60s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, and near 59 in McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy and high temperatures near 61 in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, with the south wind gusting up to 21 miles per hour. Showers in Eugene with a high near 64. In central Oregon, a slight chance of rain with a high near 70 in Prineville, a chance of rain with highs in the low to mid 60s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, mostly sunny in low 70s and breezy this afternoon. High surf advisories and showers and breezy along the Oregon coast with a high near 62 in Coos Bay, 59 in Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s in Crescent City, California, with a south wind gusting up to 33 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, a chance of showers in near 67 in Grants Pass, a slight chance of showers in Medford and Ashland with a high near 67, and mostly cloudy with highs in the mid-60s in the Klamath Basin. Into northern California, mostly cloudy with a high near 69 in Wairika, partly sunny from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs in the low 70s and a light southeast wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny with a high near 70 in Santa Rosa and near 69 in Napa. Partly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 68. And today in San Jose, patchy fog, then sunny with a high near 72. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's our valley. You can just see the clouds over the top. There's a little daylight, not much. And here we go.
Yeah, that's a nice view.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, here's a view that no person had ever seen before until this day in history.
On October 24th, 1946, humanity got its very first glimpse of Earth from outer space. A captured German V-2 rocket, rocket number 13, was launched from White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. Strapped to its side was a 35mm camera that snapped a photo every second and a half as the rocket climbed 65 miles above the planet's surface. When the film was recovered, scientists were stunned. The black and white images revealed a curved horizon, clouds, and land seen from space for the very first time. Those camera images from a repurposed weapon marked the dawn of space photography and began a new way of seeing our world, small, fragile, and breathtakingly beautiful from above.
How about that?
Get into the Flat Earth Society.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. I think they're growing in ranks.
I know.
I'm telling you, there's still a flat Earth movement going on. It's crazy. And of course, the conspiracy is at a level that, it's beyond even gambling in the NBA. Golly.
All right. Christian author John Piper. He's quite a guy. He is with Crossway and shares the first steps to finding the joy in the Lord.
All Christians, and I want to say most people, but all Christians, the desire to rejoice in God is a species of joy in God. It's the seed. When you think of a seed in a tree, I think a seed is a real thing. It's life. It's life, but it's different from a tree. You want the tree to be there. It gives shade. The birds can sing in it. The squirrels can hop around in it. But that seed is real. So I want to encourage people that if they have an authentic desire for joy in God, then they do have a species of joy in God. So that's the first thing I would do. Just encourage them, because I'm pretty strong on you need joy in God. So I need to find ways of helping people who think they don't have it. The second thing I would say is do IOUS. I've got these little acronyms that I use to keep my soul from thinking. They're all prayers. So I'd say pray like this. Incline my heart to your testimonies. Open my eyes that I may behold wonderful things out of your law. Unite my heart to fear your name. Satisfy me in the morning. Those are all quotes from the Psalms, and they're all prayers. Incline my heart, open my eyes, unite my heart, and satisfy me. So cry out to God and be patient. I mean, some people are just wired to be gloomy. Eeyores types, puddle glums, who they're never going to be of the personality that looks bright and chipper. They're not going to be that way. Their joy is going to look very different than others. And so fight for it and embrace it when it comes. And if you're dealing with somebody, don't expect from them forms of outward expression that you may have that they may not have, and yet may have the same depth of joy you do.
Whoa, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm have been for quite a while, and I don't have an answer to it, but our culture today, the atmosphere of the United States today, people are not happy.
Mm-hmm.
We've lost our joy.
Right. He made a big statement there. He said some people are just wired to be gloomy. We see a lot of that going on.
Yeah, as I've often said, cynicism is the cancer of the soul. You know, and but I realize the culture is crazy, upside down, creates a lot of anxiety. But can that be offset with genuine joy of the Lord in your life? That you know the truth. Can you be happy about that? That you serve the Creator. Can you be happy about that? Can you be happy about the fact that no matter what this life throws at you and what this culture throws at you, you're still going to heaven? Can you be happy about that?
Yes, and amen, and pass the plate.
Well, can you be happy you're above grass today?
Yes, yes, and you should be.
Well,
right.
Try it. It works.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a happy break. We'll be right back.
Every limit crossing time and space. Majestic beauty to this broken place. You reach beyond.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
After months of planning and construction, the Dove's brand new studio and setup grade is now complete, and you've made it happen. To celebrate and give you a chance to see this important milestone, the Dove is hosting an open house October 29th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our studios at 2070 Milligan Way in Medford. Come out and see what you did for this major accomplishment. To RSVP, call 541-200-6043.
When plumbing emergencies hit, and they do, you want help from a plumber you can trust, and you need it now. Onnit Plumbing to the rescue. Onnit Plumbing gets the job done right with integrity and quality craftsmanship. Onnit Plumbing offers military discounts, senior discounts, and discounts for KDOV listeners too. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Onnit Plumbing, CCB 229436. No job too big or small. Onnit Plumbing does them all. See us at onnitplumbing.net. onnitplumbing.net.
Answers with Bayless Conley.
Now it's no longer I who live, but it is Christ who lives in me.
Find answers to life's biggest questions that can only be found in the Bible.
How much God loves people that he would give so much to redeem them.
Answers to strengthen your faith, to know God better, for a more deep, more powerful walk.
We were the sheep that went astray, but he was the lamb that was slaughtered.
Get Answers with Bayless Conley, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back. 10 minutes before the hour. Yesterday I had a new guest on, Corey Miller. He's quite the apologist. His whole story is phenomenal. How he went from being a Mormon to being an evangelical all the way up to a PhD, and he's earned 3 master's degrees, all in apologetics. He goes to colleges. He's like a Charlie Kirk. He's on colleges doing all this stuff. And I did ask him, I said, well, the research shows, and even George Barna says, that young men are coming to the Lord. And what do you think about that? He had an interesting response. Here's what he had to say.
I'm not encouraged by the young females. They're going ever more progressive. And by no accident here, they outbeat males in college enrollment, in college grad school, at the PhD level, and at the assistant professorship. We're literally looking at the demographic feminization of the universities, which will also have implications on who's going to be the breadwinner in the family based on which larger degree makes more money. That has implications for the future, but females are going more progressive. Young males are going more conservative. I was quoted in a Fox News article last week. I did 2 back-to-back interviews with them about the resurgence of Generation Z. And the question is, even with the young males who have been battered for 5 or 10 or 15 years as toxic, as part of the patriarchy, yes, they're moving back. They want to come somewhere where they're liked, and Bible sales are going through the roof, and Christian music's being downloaded and so forth. But who are they following? Are they following Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan? Or is it the anti-Semite Nick Fuentes or the wife-beating Andrew Tate reacting to feminism with real toxic masculinity? Or are they following Charlie Kirk, who also puts the gospel front and center? That is a good question. So now is a good time to really jump in and participate in what appears to be a revival of sorts. But as we know, no revival lasts forever. Even at 9/11 and 9/10, we didn't know what Islam was. On 9/11, we began asking. 9/12, we started going back to church. And by 9/13, we went back to things as usual. If we don't make durable changes, and that means the university, we're going to see the same thing downstream in culture later. We have to, as evangelicals, be thinking about the most influential institution shaping civilization.
Which is education.
Yeah.
And we have to think long and hard about that. His interview yesterday, in fact, you can go to theDove.us and watch it. It's fascinating. And he's really quite concerned about the residual effect of higher education into the culture. And he basically said this: all the Ivy League colleges, the Harvard, the Yales, the Princetons, Columbias, and all of those, they basically been slapped down a little bit, but they're not changing.
Right.
They're just waiting for Trump to go away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they're going to come back with a vengeance, with DEI and everything else. And those students come out of there. Even a Christian student can go to there and come out, and they're changed.
Oh, absolutely.
They're changed.
Yes.
And so
yeah,
I just think we need to be aware of, do you believe the Bible is the inerrant word of God? Do you believe that? And it goes through the 3 questions. You know, you and I ask it all the time. Do you know what you believe? Do you know why you believe that? And can you gracefully defend it?
3 big questions. Yep.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. You know, I was wondering too, when he cited some of the trends going on in higher education, are those being mirrored in Christian colleges, I wonder?
Well, his alarm is that it appears, if you look how Princeton and Yale went from being basically seminaries.
Oh, true. Good point. Yeah.
Ordained ministers were the presidents for years, okay, to where they are today, where they're just bastions of almost socialism, if not outright communism, to where the remaining schools that are out there today, universities, are they're getting professors that have come from those colleges that will have an influence on schools. And I've heard rumors from various colleges that we respect there may be some shifts going on. But you're going to have to rely on people who are true to the gospel and true to the Word of God and are unwavering. And that is easier said than done. You can put your stake in the ground, but the winds are blowing.
All right. Well, I got something to feel good about.
Good. It's a happy Friday.
No, it's a good one. Here's a young guy who's going the extra mile to honor fallen heroes.
In Chicago, a 10-year-old boy named Liam is proving that heroes are never forgotten, and he's running to make sure of it. Liam is part of Running for Heroes, a nonprofit that organizes 1-mile runs across the country to honor law enforcement officers who've died in the line of duty. Since joining in April, Liam has completed 17 tribute runs, each one dedicated to a fallen officer. Before every run, he learns their story, writes a letter to their family, and carries an American flag the entire mile, followed by a fire truck or police escort. When he finishes, he folds that flag and sends it to the officers' loved ones. This year alone, Kansas lost 4 officers in just 4 months, and Liam has made it his mission to run for each of them. As he puts it, even if they're miles away, I still want to honor them. a young runner keeping the memory of fallen heroes alive 1 mile at a time.
Beautiful.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Give young people a cause.
Yes,
They'll outdo us every time.
You're right.
I take with you 1 John chapter 3, verse 22. Listen to this. And whatever we ask, we receive from him because we keep his commandments and do what pleases him. Are you keeping the Big 10? How about the Big 11? Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Oh, yeah.
And love your neighbor as yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Give it a try today. Buy somebody ahead today. Buy them a hamburger, buy them a cup of coffee, give them a peanut, whatever. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sherry Breslin with Rogue Valley Security. Whether it's alarms, cameras, keyless entry, or even Starlink, we tailor solutions for your home or business. We believe in professionalism, excellence, and integrity. Every job, every time. Visit RogueValleySecurity.com.
Life is complicated enough. Why worry about what to do with your extra car? Skip the costs of maintaining it, storing it, insuring it, or renewing registration. Car repairs? Forget about it. Here's one easy solution to your car problem. Donate it to our station. It's fast, free, tax deductible, and if you donate, you're going to feel incredible knowing you're supporting quality programming. Interested? Just call this toll-free number or donate online. Thank you.
I went to KFBK. That's the station that Rush Limbaugh got a start at, and I helped that station become what it is today, which is the #1 news talk station in Sacramento. And then we had the opportunity to buy a daytime AM station in Southern Oregon. It was licensed to Ashland, Oregon, KDOV. I quit my job and sold my house and bought the radio station.
The Dove Radio, 65 years.
Men of Southern Oregon, we are thrilled to announce that our next Game Changers, we are bringing in author and speaker Lee Strobel. If you're not familiar with Lee Strobel, he wrote The Case for Faith, The Case for Christ. He is the man behind the movie The Case for Christ, and he's got a new book out called Seeing the Supernatural. Recently, he's been featured on The Sean Ryan Show. He's been featured on Tucker Carlson. A lot of his books address big questions that believers have, and even the unbelieving world, about heaven, about Jesus. Can we trust the resurrection? He was formerly an atheist, and through his research, he came to the faith. I'm super excited for you guys to experience Game Changers at Edgewater Christian Fellowship with Lee Strobel. Get signed up. It's November 2nd, 6 p.m. God bless you guys.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Apologetics on major issues so you can know your faith. Watch The John Ankerberg Show, weekdays at 4 on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. This is where it happens because Jerry's here.
You betcha.
And stuff happens.
well, stuff does happen, but
there's no question about that. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Change in the weather?
Yeah, changing the weather indeed, and in spades. It's coming. We got a lot of moisture, and we got some wind coming with it. We used to call it a storm, but now it's an atmospheric river.
Oh, hey, I wanted to mention, coming your way. I wanted to mention something right at the top here today. What? So get ready, Scott. I'm going to throw something at you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Can you give some wide shots? Can you give a wide shot? Okay. There's our new set. We're having open house Wednesday next week.
Oh, yeah.
So we're about done with this project. It was there's a few little things left, but I have to tell you, it turned out to be quite a project. Always do. Mm-hmm. But anyway, open house here 10 to 1 next Wednesday, and we'd like for you to kind of go online and RSVP so we can kind of figure out how many are coming. But anytime between 10 and 1 next Wednesday, the 29th, we're going to open it up and let you come in and see what the Lord has done here. It is quite remarkable. It was really a project. I mean, a huge project. And we're just about 99% done. Hopefully we'll be done by Wednesday. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that we're doing that.
And a perfect day for an open house because, we have weather coming our way. There's going to be a break in the weather on Wednesday.
Really?
Tuesday, yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be nice. We're going to see some sunshine and a perfect day for you to come and join us.
Yeah, come
what's
take a
been
look.
going on here.
We may give you 1 kernel of popcorn if you're nice to Jerry.
Yeah. And we got it, too. All right. Yeah.
Good
All
stuff.
right.
All right.
Well, guess what? Today is National Pharmacy Buyer Day. Somebody or a position I've never thought about, keeping the shelves stocked in your local pharmacy with all the medications that you and I need. And that's got to be quite a planning progression to get that all filled. Is that going to be one of the AI jobs that replaces humans?
Let's hope not.
Yeah, it's medication after all.
Yeah, let's hope not.
But, medication is a hot football in our society these days, isn't it? Anything that has to do with the medical industry.
Yeah.
In fact, they'll even keep the government closed over some of those issues.
Well, it's
How about that?
I've noticed one thing getting older.
What?
I've become more interested in medical science.
And knowledgeable, especially about certain aspects of medical science.
Have you ever noticed that when you complain about a problem, 50 other people are now pros in it?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So they'll immediately tell you and what to do about it.
Absolutely. And not only that, but AI is listening in and stuff starts popping up on my screen to help me combat some of the ills that I may have, or that at least it thinks that I have because I mentioned it.
Well, when AI starts interpreting your dreams,
oh no,
that's the time to check out.
Oh, yeah.
Go live in the forest somewhere.
Yeah, eat bird seed and sit on Yes. Okay, and speaking of which, it's National Food Day.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a day to remind us to eat real. Calling to action for everyone to discover the joys of food that is both delicious and wholesome. And obviously, we live in a day and an age where there are a lot of processed and over-refined foods. So make room for vibrant vegetables, juicy fruits, whole grains, and sustainably raised proteins. And of course, that's an important part of all of our diets. And speaking of proteins, we're full of bologna today. And real bologna. It's called bologna.
Bologna.
And no matter how you pronounce it,
We have that song, Dan?
it comes from Italy. And it is the original Italian sausage. And boy, we eat a lot of it in this country. And it was certainly brought to the forefront by Oscar Mayer. And they had a catchy tune and a cute young boy singing it, and B-L-O-N-G-N-A, or however you spell it. But speaking of bologna, did you know the first bologna originated in Italy? It's still made there, but it's not called bologna. Italians call their bologna mortadella. It's a beloved Italian tradition, and it's been one of Italy's most popular meats literally for thousands of years, even feeding the Roman army. The name mortadella derives from the mortar and pestle that's used to grind up the myrtle berries and pistachio nuts into the lard and pork. Yeah, sounds good, doesn't it?
No.
Yeah, it's named after the city in Italy where it originated. And production of mortadella is very serious in Italy. In fact, the Pope got involved in 1661, issuing restrictions and legal definitions regarding the product. And there is a framed decree from a governing body called L'Arte dei Salaroli, and it translates roughly to this. It says, if you make fake mortadella without the approval of the Salarelli, your body will be stretched on the rack 3 times. You will be fined 200 gold coins, and all the food you make will be destroyed. But the biggest celebrity who loved bologna was the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, who couldn't get enough barbecue bologna made for him by his longtime cook, Mary Jenkins Langston. The king of rock and roll says, bologna is good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Give me more bologna. Barbecue.
Did you ever have barbecue bologna?
I never even heard of barbecue bologna until I did this story. I thought, the king thinks barbecue bologna, thought barbecue bologna was good.
Okay.
Oh, man, I want to try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
All right, speaking of which, here's Sir Baloney doing the weather.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With the first in a series of fronts moving over the top of our region, today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, showers with daytime highs in the low 60s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, and near 59 in McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy and high temperatures near 61 in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis with the south wind gusting up to 21 miles per hour. Showers in Eugene with a high near 64. In central Oregon, a slight chance of rain with a high near 70 in Prineville, a chance of rain with highs in the low to mid-60s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, mostly sunny in low 70s and breezy this afternoon. High surf advisories and showers and breezy along the Oregon coast with a high near 62 in Coos Bay, 59 in Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s in Crescent City, California, with a south wind gusting up to 33 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, a chance of showers in near 67 in Grants Pass, a slight chance of showers in Medford and Ashland with a high near 67, and mostly cloudy with highs in the mid-60s in the Klamath Basin. Into northern California, mostly cloudy with a high near 69 in Wairika, partly sunny from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs in the low 70s and a light southeast wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny with a high near 70 in Santa Rosa and near 69 in Napa. Partly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 68. And today in San Jose, patchy fog, then sunny with a high near 72. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, it's a beautiful sunrise this morning. This is looking from east to west, but you can see the pink underneath. The sun is coming up. We probably won't see the heavy rain until late this afternoon or maybe early evening, but it is coming our way.
And guess what?
What?
In the upper elevations.
Snow.
We're going to see some snow.
All right.
So be careful. Check your tripcheck.com if you're going anywhere this weekend. All right, time for some encouragement this morning with the Reverend Billy Graham.
Can you imagine somebody saying, I'm the embodiment of all truth? All scientific truth, psychological truth. I am the embodiment of all religious truth, moral truth. Well, the man's crazy. He's either a liar or he's crazy or he's who he claims to be. And that's the decision you have to make. If Jesus Christ is who he claims to be, the Son of God and the only way of salvation, the only way to escape the coming judgment, then you better make your way to Christ fast tonight. Don't wait, because we never know when our hour is coming. Because you see, the end of the world for you could be tonight. The moment you die, that is the end of the world for you. And that could come at any moment. But for the whole population of the world, it's not going to come the way some scientists think, because they don't take into account God. God is a God of love and mercy. He's a God of planning, yes. He's a God of judgment, yes. But there are going to be people that are going to be saved out of all this mess, and God is going to build a new world and a new kingdom. And that day is going to come as sure as I'm standing here. Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing into heaven? When these disciples saw Jesus ascending into heaven and the tears were in their eyes, and they saw their master going, and two men stood by them in white apparel and said, you men of Galilee, why do you stand here gazing into heaven? This same Jesus that's taken up from you is going to come in like manner as you've seen him go into heaven. He's going to come back.
We need to hear that.
Yeah.
We need to hear that. That's the comforting word that, the world's gone crazy, but God's in control of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories today. And one that kind of broke yesterday has kind of got our brain on tilt, but little did we realize that there was a huge illegal gambling group, I guess, inside the NBA. And this has tentacles throughout the entire league, players and coaches, and reaches over into the mafia and everything else. And it has implicated our own Chauncey Billups, who is the head coach of the Oregon Trailblazers. So a lot of arrests were made yesterday, and what's it all about? Quite frankly, it's a little confusing.
Yeah, it is.
So let's listen to Kash Patel, head of the FBI, and here's what he had to say about the uncovering.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Casa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people for money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played.
Oh.
Wow. This is just day one.
I know. Well, we need day two and beyond because I don't really understand what's going on. What's it all about? I mean, gambling,
money laundering.
Gambling's legal in this country. Why do you have to go gamble with organized crime? And why are prominent people in the NBA and other positions getting involved in illegal gambling? I mean, if you have a gambling addiction, I get it. I see it. But do you have to be involved in criminal activity to feed your addiction?
Well, I can't answer any of that. The only thing I can say is extortion was mentioned.
I don't get it.
Money laundering it must be at levels that you and I can't comprehend.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of dollars.
It must be.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's fraud involved.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to dig deeper, I guess.
Here we go. All right. The other story is, as you know, the government is now in day 23, which is the second longest shutdown of the government. We could be going to the longest. Mm-hmm. Both sides seem to be dug in pretty hard here. Mm-hmm. But yesterday, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngstown, you got to remember, he came to power because of nonsense, you know.
True.
And he's a businessman. And yesterday he just said, look, the Chuck Schumer shutdown is going to affect 850,000 residents and will lose access to food assistance in his state. He said he had to declare a state emergency. So what's so interesting about this, all this can be solved, but it was agitated by, as you said earlier, Jerry, that there are several attempts, okay, let's pay people, let's let the food go while we work this stuff out. And the Democrats said no.
Right, they voted down. They've voted down to be able to
13
pay.
times.
Yes, and again, recently now they just, Democrats voted to stop Republicans' effort to pay essential workers who are continuing to work during the shutdown, including air traffic controllers. And Democrats said no, not only not going to pay them, but those folks on the SNAP benefits, on welfare, they're not going to get their SNAP benefits either.
Well, look, it all points towards the D's, and I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's now getting very, very serious in some areas, so they'll take that under consideration. The other story that broke yesterday is that Senator Grassley, who's on the Senate side, released a memo. This is pretty interesting. He released a memo from 2022. This is back in April 2022. The Justice Department memo showing that the Attorney General, then Attorney General Merrick Garland, and then Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, and then FBI Director Christopher Wray personally approved an FBI investigation into the alleged efforts by the Trump campaign associates to obstruct Congress in certifying the 2020 election. That would have been, the January 6th thing. So what they're finding out here is that this thing was organized. It was well organized within the Biden administration. And as we know, the covers are coming off of January 6th. There's so many fallacies there. And then you add this to it and you kind of go, is this almost like what we uncovered with gambling? This thing was so well under the cover organized.
Oh boy. Yeah.
The old saying is, let's create an insurrection and blame the other guys.
Yeah.
That appears to be what's being uncovered here.
It looks like it. And we look at AG Merrick Garland. Let's not forget, we dodged a huge bullet.
Oh, him not sitting on the Supreme Court?
Absolutely. Oh, boy, that was a big one.
All right. In the meantime, the ongoing talks between Canada and America on trade issues kind of, have always been kind of sticky, and they're trying to get them going. We're in the middle of it. Canada releases a political ad quoting the late President Ronald Reagan, saying that tariffs cause trade wars and economic disaster. Well, then they find out that the President Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Library said that they used, quote, selective audio and video, and they're examining their options for legal action against them. In other words, they took stuff and cut and pasted.
Exactly, yes.
This is really, and so in the meantime, the president says all talks with Canada are now off the table.
Wow.
We've never had a more consequential business person in the White House ever.
Yeah.
That's not a pro-Trump statement, it's a fact.
No, it's true.
All right, 19 now past the hour. Those are the biggies out there, and we'd love to see you next Wednesday. Swing on by if you're in the area.
Yeah.
And we'll give you one kernel of popcorn. No, I'm just kidding. Come on by. We'd love to have you see what the Lord has done here. It's quite remarkable. We're still got a few things to do. We're covering. It almost got me, but we're going to be okay. So come on by. We'll take a look. We'll be right back.
Like there's no
big ideas grow.
After months of planning and construction, the Dove's brand new studio and setup grade is now complete, and you've made it happen. To celebrate and give you a chance to see this important milestone, the Dove is hosting an open house October 29th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our studios at 2070 Milligan Way in Medford. Come out and see what you did for this major accomplishment. To RSVP, call 541-200-6043.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Welcome back. 21 minutes past the hour on a beautiful fall Friday. Incoming storms and should be pretty active later today and through the weekend, so get ready for that. Well, the big story of the day is the gambling ring that's been uncovered, the illegal gambling ring that's been uncovered, including a lot of NBA players and coaches, not to mention some crime families, which is interesting out there, how deep this thing goes. But unfortunately, it took in the Oregon Trailblazers head coach, Chauncey Billups. And you kind of go, really? And so now he's been implicated. And I guess I should know this, but I don't. I think he was arrested yesterday.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. And so anyway, that's pretty embarrassing.
Oh, man.
You know, and it's sad. It really is sad. Do the people who are being arrested know how deep this was?
That's a great question.
You know, at what level? It's kind of like getting involved with a cult, you know, because the surface looks good, but the core is rotten.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, but it's involved some players and coaches. Anyway, on the NBA channel last night, obviously this was the talk, and here you have O'Neal, Barkley, and I forget who the other one is. They're talking about what happened here. And listen to this little conversation. It's kind of interesting.
I'm ashamed that those guys will put their families and their careers in jeopardy. How much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. You know, put a bad image on yourself or your family.
We have to realize gambling is an addiction. So the addiction of it is what makes you make illogical decisions. Ain't got nothing to do with addiction. That's just total stupidity on these two dudes' parts.
Just stupidity.
So and that was Barkley. And so Barkley actually went on to say, "No, you're making me mad by talking like that." He got a little upset at Smith. And so the bottom line here is, and I want to say this carefully because you know, okay. But when you say they did this because they're addicted, you're almost giving them a pass.
Right. Right.
And you can't do this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can get addicted to funny drinks. That's supposed to give you energy.
That's right. Amen, brother.
It's like that one over there. You get to drink the coffee. Okay.
Wait a minute.
But that doesn't give you an excuse to be stupid.
I'm just trying it.
I know. Man. I'm sure I could get Stephanie Mendenhall, Doug Gould here, others. We could talk about addictions. And don't get me wrong, they're real. I get it. I totally get it. We're all addicted to something. Right. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But when the addiction becomes the excuse, or the term addiction becomes the excuse for stupidity and bad behavior, give me a break.
Yeah, well, Charles didn't like it, did he?
No. He was a little upset about it. So anyway, this story is unwinding. In the meantime, our own Senator Ron Wyden, who was really championing the fact that the Oregon Trailblazers got sold and were going to stay local, he was out really waving that flag. And then 2 days later, this breaks. Yeah. And you got to remember, Senator Wyden, I think he played for UC Santa Barbara. He was when he went to college. He was there. He was a basketball. He's a tall guy, you know. And I know Senator Wyden. He's a nice guy. Just don't, you know, he and I disagree on a lot of things, but he's a nice guy. But the point being is that he's the rug's pulled out from underneath him. He's deeply saddened by this. Yeah. And this is just day one.
Right.
How deep does this go?
Yeah.
I saw one figure yesterday, and not even sure how it applies, but one figure of $7 million. So I don't know.
Okay. Also,
how that all
we're looking at Chauncey Billups and Rozier, other people involved. Over 30 arrests were made yesterday.
In 11 states.
How about that?
Yeah, it's a big deal. You talk about throwing the net out there.
Yes, indeed.
All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for a Friday morning. And thank you, Preston. He is the dude, the man with smart lawn. And you've seen more and more smart people getting smart lawns. Look at this. The Dow's way up. You know why?
Why?
Because the tariffs did not increase inflation. It's the big business story this morning. So the Dow's up 400, the Nasdaq is up 260, the S&P's up over 58. The first indication that inflation is being held down, even though the tariffs are working, so to speak. Gold's up to 43.78. Silver's off a few pennies, still at 48.47. That's still pretty high for silver. And crude oil's up to 66.33. So the big driver this morning is inflation is in check, and the tariffs seem to be working.
Hey, do you think there is a shift in the media reporting on President Donald Trump that's going on right now?
A shift.
A shift. Well,
like what?
Let's look at it. As news commentator Miranda Devine joined Fox Business's Stuart Varney and discussed a shift in the media reporting on Donald Trump that she sees happening.
It certainly does seem that, Jeff Bezos is flexing his muscles a little bit, and over at the Washington Post. And then Barry Weiss at CBS, we're already hearing, there are monstrous leaks coming from there, and they're all very, full of consternation and upset. But she is, for instance, went into a 60 Minutes meeting and she said, why is it that the whole of the country doesn't trust you? And apparently everyone in the meeting was shocked and stunned because they believe that they're doing wonderful journalism. And she also has been calling people who normally wouldn't come on 60 Minutes because it's been such a left-wing anti-Trump cabal, people like Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, and they got that exclusive the other night on the peace deal.
I don't think it's a shift. I think it's an order from high above to cool the storm.
Yeah. Well, how many settlements do media organizations have to pay Donald Trump before they get it?
See? And they've never had anybody that had the means, the power, and the guts, quite frankly.
To go after him.
To go after him.
Yes.
And CBS has had their hat handed back to them on several occasions, especially, and the worst one is their ratings. And so the only thing, and then, when they had the big turnover with 60 Minutes and all that, the higher-ups are telling them to cool it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and so the executives are telling these journalists, cool it or you're out. And what they're basically saying is we can't afford to lose any more ratings. We can't go down this road.
Yeah.
There's only, and by the way, overall advertising dollars in the United States, because I track that.
Okay.
Is way off.
Really? Really?
And if your ratings are way down, you're not gonna get money.
Yep.
And that's at the end of the day. These are just money machines.
Yeah, but
propaganda money machines.
But that's not viewed that way on the left, is it? Yeah, it's a whole different perspective.
Well, what the old saying is, "Go woke, go broke."
Yeah, we're seeing it.
It's going down that road.
Yep.
So, especially with this crime thing going on with gambling, the only thing I can say is, goes back to, you don't break God's laws break you.
Yeah.
Remember one thing about God's laws? I think people forget this. People think God's laws only apply to Christians, that the Big Ten only apply to believers and people who believe in the Bible. This is God speaking to humanity.
Amen, yeah.
That stop sign out there?
Yeah.
Isn't just for you, Jerry.
Really?
It's for me, too. You run it all the time. I get the ticket. We'll be right back.
Feels like I'm born again. It feels like I'm living for the very first time. For the very first time.
The Dove's brand new studio is complete, and you've made it happen. To give you an in-person chance to see this important milestone, the Dove is hosting an open house Wednesday, October 29th from 10 to 1 p.m. at our studios. Hope to see you.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable, flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
Every day in Southern Oregon, lives are shaken by poverty, violence, and hardship. Last year alone, the Salvation Army reached more than 11,000 people in Jackson County with food, shelter, and critical support. Behind every meal served, every family housed, and every life restored, there's a volunteer making it happen. Please join us. There are many ways you can volunteer and make a difference in someone's life today. The Salvation Army doing the most good together. This message made possible by the Oregon Health Authority Hospital-Based Intervention Grant.
Pastor Robert Jeffers of the First Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas.
Not just about Christ Jesus, but that I might know him.
Helping you learn, grow, and get on the pathway to victory. Catch it 7 times every weekend on theDove TV.
Welcome back on a beautiful Friday, fall Friday, heading into a wintry weekend. You know, and we're not officially winter yet.
No, we're not.
We're coming up on it. We're coming up on the time change in a couple of weeks. So get ready for that. It's hard to believe that this time next week will be November.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, well, time flies when you're having fun. All right, well, there's a new term out there. It's cute, but it could be offensive. Babysitters. What's a babysitter? Let's check in with CBN Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch. Thank you for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Today is Friday, October 24th, and we're going to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. The steady stream of U.S. officials visiting Israel continues with the arrival of Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Thursday, just after Vice President J.D. Vance returned to the United States. It's left many wondering if President Donald Trump is sending what they're calling babysitters to make sure his peace deal does not collapse. CBN News Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more on our top story from Jerusalem.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Secretary of State Marco Rubio shortly after his arrival. His visit comes on the heels of Vice President J.D. Vance and negotiators Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. President Trump visited last week.
This is a circle of trust and partnership. You've been an extraordinary friend of Israel, and now we face days of destiny. We want to advance peace. We still have security challenges, but I think that we can work together, and by working together, both address the challenges and seize the opportunities.
Rubio noted that it's just over a week since President Trump's work led to the release of 20 living hostages and a ceasefire, the first phase in a multi-step and complicated peace plan. Hamas also agreed to the return of 28 dead hostages, but 13 are still unaccounted for, leading to charges they violated the deal.
No one's under any illusions. We've already done the impossible once, and we intend to keep doing that. If we can, we have good partners that we're working on. But we feel confident and positive about the progress that's being made. We're clear-eyed about the challenges, too.
A small number of Knesset members put a strain on the U.S.-Israel relationship when they passed the first reading of a bill to extend Israeli sovereignty over biblical Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank. When asked if he thought the sovereignty vote would affect the peace plan, Trump said,
"They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything with it."
He also told Time magazine that Israel would lose U.S. support if that happened. The Prime Minister's office said the vote was a deliberate political provocation by the opposition to sow discord during Vice President J.D. Vance's visit to Israel. Tech columnist and Israel advocate Hillel Fold tells CBN News he sees the vote as part of a global political trend to tear down political leaders.
And so the opposition said, oh, here's a good way to give it to Bibi. We're going to vote for, sovereignty in Judea and Samaria and just annoy the vice president, which they did. And it worked because he said he was offended, which is a very strange statement to make.
Regarding Trump's statements, Fold says he believes Trump is a real friend to Israel, but that could change.
Unfortunately, right now, whether it's a right move or a wrong move to take sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, I think it's a little bit absurd, for lack of a better term, that the United States of America thinks it has the right to dictate to Israel a decision that's internal to Israel, let alone a security issue.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
For more on this story and other developments, be sure to tune in to Jerusalem Dateline. You can find it this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern on the CBN News channel. You can also watch it on the CBN News app and find it on YouTube as well. Here in the U.S., despite the ongoing government shutdown, the military still got paid this month, and this is because of an unusual funding workaround. Effects of the shutdown, however, go beyond paychecks. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke explains.
As the government shutdown entered its second week, President Trump ordered the Pentagon to ensure America's troops received paychecks. They accomplished that by using unused funds originally allocated for research and development.
President Trump cares about our service members and he wants to put them first. So does Secretary Hegseth.
Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson tells CBN News that while the War Department is committed to keeping the American people safe, the lack of funding is taking a toll.
We've got a lot of civilians across the War Department who are furloughed and who aren't able to come into work every day. And we've got people who are here working like myself who aren't getting paid.
The Heritage Foundation's Richard Stern, an economic policy expert, points to the impact on day-to-day operations of the military.
Things that are important for positioning forces, they're important for training, important for maintaining readiness, that again, when there's a lapse in funding, there just isn't the money available to procure the equipment for, or the fuel, or the other supplies that you need. And so while the military has some flexibility, and of course there's federal laws that allow for certain essential functions, of course, to continue even without government funding, it still starts putting a wrench in the works. It still starts grinding to halt, as you put it.
30. Hey, okay, there you go. Let's see how this is going to go. Well, okay. One day at a time over there. Okay. So far, the piece is holding, but they have some problems. We'll see what goes on. All right, let's go from babysitting to baloney.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With the first in a series of fronts moving over the top of our region, today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, showers with daytime highs in the low 60s for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville, and near 59 in McMinnville. Continuing down the Willamette Valley with showers and breezy and high temperatures near 61 in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis with the south wind gusting up to 21 miles per hour. Showers in Eugene with a high near 64. In central Oregon, a slight chance of rain with a high near 70 in Prineville. A chance of rain with highs in the low to mid 60s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, mostly sunny in low 70s and breezy this afternoon. High surf advisories and showers and breezy along the Oregon coast with a high near 62 in Coos Bay, 59 in Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s in Crescent City, California, with a south wind gusting up to 33 miles per hour. In southern Oregon, a chance of showers in near 67 in Grants Pass, a slight chance of showers in Medford and Ashland with a high near 67, and mostly cloudy with highs in the mid-60s in the Klamath Basin. Into northern California, mostly cloudy with a high near 69 in Wairika. Partly sunny from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs in the low 70s and a light southeast wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny with a high near 70 in Santa Rosa and near 69 in Napa. Partly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 68. And today in San Jose, patchy fog, then sunny with a high near 72. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of our valley this morning, and the clouds are coming in. You can see that. We had a beautiful sunrise if you're looking the other way.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Yeah, the coming storm, and it's on its way. That's a great view right there. And speaking of a great view, here's a view that no person had ever seen before until this day in history.
On October 24th, 1946, humanity got its very first glimpse of Earth from outer space. A captured German V-2 rocket, rocket number 13, was launched from White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. Strapped to its side was a 35mm camera that snapped a photo every second and a half as the rocket climbed 65 miles above the planet's surface. When the film was recovered, scientists were stunned. The black and white images revealed a curved horizon, clouds, and land seen from space for the very first time. Those camera images from a repurposed weapon marked the dawn of space photography and began a new way of seeing our world, small, fragile, and breathtakingly beautiful from above.
Interesting. Wow. The first view of space was from a captured German V-2 rocket. Interesting.
And the flat earthers are still there.
They're converging on Area 51 right now.
Is that?
Yeah.
But I mean, they're still.
Oh, there are flat earthers. Oh, and I'm telling you.
How in the world do they explain this?
Well, there's a lot of convoluting here, you know.
So they never went to the moon?
No. That's all
done in a garage in LA.
That's a hoax. I'll tell you what. You got to take conspiracy to a new level to make these dots match.
Okay.
Line them up.
All right, 19 before the hour. Here's a question for you, Grandpa, Dad.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you ever firm with your kids?
Yes, I was.
Were you ever firm with the grandkids?
Hardly. What's that?
Okay, I get it. All right, Adam Griffin, he's with Crossway, shares how parents can be firm and yet approachable.
For parents, having a balance of things is what makes parenting feel impossible, right? The best parenting advice you might get is, hey, always be involved in your kid's life. And then someone could just as easily say, hey, don't be over-involved in your kid's life. Don't overreact, but don't underreact. Like, be firm, but not scary. Be friendly, but not their buddy. And before you know it, what they've drawn a picture of for you is an extremely narrow way to be a perfect parent by which you will never get it exactly right. So how should parents think about it? They should think about it not so much as a pendulum that swings back and forth, but to go, how can I do this in a way where I am constantly having to make a decision where this time I do something different than last time? Maybe a little bit different, and maybe I try to be a little bit stern here and a little bit friendlier there, but then give myself a break where I go, I can't get this exactly right. So when I beat myself up for not getting it exactly right, I'm actually making matters worse. So if I'm walking the freedom that says, you know what, a good example might be for a picky eater. Sometimes I make them try something new, and sometimes I say it's okay if you eat something that you like, because I don't want you to starve to death. And so for that, the parent has to make some decisions where they go, sometimes I'll do it like this, and sometimes I'll do it like that. There's rarely a time where we say, well, no problem, always do it like this. Hey, here's the exact right, balanced way to not overreact and not underreact, to be firm enough but not be scary. It is rare to just thread that needle. You'll have to go circumstance by circumstance and ask the Lord for wisdom and guidance. And then where you feel like you've messed up, you'll be able to repent and say, and that's not going to cling to me. I get to walk free because of the grace of God. But if you try to get it, you try to thread that needle, you try to get it exactly right, you're going to end up with a lot of guilt and shame, because you're going to have a chance every day to beat yourself up for what you could have done better. So the truth is, we can always do better. What we want to do as a person set free, say if it's insulting, tormenting, regretting, resenting over my mistakes, then I am leaning into something that sounds like what the accuser would have me believe. But if I'm going to listen to the advocate, if I'm going to listen to Jesus Christ, my advocate, then I'm going to go, hey, I am set free from the things that would otherwise cling to me, the sin that Hebrews says so easily entangles. And I want to cast that off so I can run the race that's marked out for me. And that's what I want for parents, is when it's leaned into sin or even foolishness, that we cast that off to run the race marked out for us. And when it's not, we just use our best version of wisdom to say, how will I do this today? How can I do this better?
Wow.
Yep. How can I do it better?
Yeah.
All right, a quick break. Now, do you ever had a bologna sandwich?
Oh, yeah.
So what did you like, mustard or mayonnaise on it?
Yeah, both.
Yeah?
Yeah, and some lettuce, right? And I've never had it barbecued, but hot bologna sandwich sounds good.
Barbecue bologna.
How about that?
I've got to process that one.
Yeah, go Elvis.
We're going to try it. We'll be right back.
Do you hear the cries that pour out from all the earth? Can your
I saw an opportunity to take the news and combine it with a Christian format. In listening to Christian media and radio, I thought, well, why should those people leave that radio station to go somewhere else to get informed, to get the weather and get the news, and then hopefully they'd come back during the day? So we created the format where we do a live 3-hour morning news talk inspirational show. It's a model that we've stuck with all these years.
The Dove Radio, 65 years.
Men of Southern Oregon, we are thrilled to announce that our next Game Changers, we are bringing in author and speaker Lee Strobel. If you're not familiar with Lee Strobel, he wrote The Case for Faith, The Case for Christ. He is the man behind the movie The Case for Christ, and he's got a new book out called Seeing the Supernatural. Recently, he's been featured on The Sean Ryan Show. He's been featured on Tucker Carlson. A lot of his books address big questions that believers have, and even the unbelieving world, about heaven, about Jesus. Can we trust the resurrection? He was formerly an atheist, and through his research, he came to the faith. I'm super excited for you guys to experience Game Changers at Edgewater Christian Fellowship with Lee Strobel. Get signed up. It's November 2nd, 6 p.m. God bless you guys.
He couldn't detect two separate babies, like two separate sacs, for sure. And so he looked at me and said, it's almost like they're conjoined. I was terrified, I was scared. That was a prayer that I also prayed, like, God, give me peace. Help me get through this, to know you gave me these girls and you knew from the beginning they were gonna be conjoined, and I trust you.
Friday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back. I had yesterday a fascinating gentleman on. His name is Dr. Corey Miller. He has a PhD. His own story is amazing. He went from being a Mormon to being an evangelical to becoming a PhD professor. He's earned 3 master's degrees, and his whole ministry is outreach to colleges, and he's pretty convinced that the universities now are a huge problem, and the residual effect, the long-term effect of students going through these institutions and coming into our culture change everything. And he talked about the Marxist ideology overtaking some of these schools, and here's what he had to say.
Everybody needs to prepare for the ideological poison that's coming out of the universities, because you can't escape it. And don't think you're going to find solstice in your Christian schools. Why? My daughter is an elementary ed major over at Purdue University, which is one of the more conservative public universities in the nation, probably because of engineering. I see her syllabus or syllabi in all of her courses for elementary ed. They've all got Marxist indoctrination in there. It's there to some degree or other. How much more so than at Berkeley and Harvard and so forth like that. And then even if we send our kids to get a degree to teach and they go into a Christian school, where did they get their education? So this stuff is going to enter into our institutions no matter what. And many of our Christian institutions now, like Wheaton, like Calvin, like Biola, are starting the path to go the same direction that Harvard, Princeton, and Yale went. Pastors need to start equipping, like Ephesians 4:11 and 12 says again, with theology and scripture and Christian thought, not skinny jeans and fog machines and being influenced more by sociology and culture. And parents, as hard as things are, and both parents might be working now, we have got to start preparing our children. We've got to start following Jesus. Perry, look, a book was written 30 years ago by Mark Knoll, historian. It was called The Scandal of the Evangelical Mind. And the scandal was that there is not much of an evangelical mind. Now, there was for the first 1900 years, but we excommunicated the head of Christ and retained only the heart and the hands of Christ. And so what I'm saying in this third revolution is that we need to start following Jesus again. He commanded us to love God with our minds. And 1 Peter 3:15 gives us not a suggestion, but a command. Be prepared to give an answer for the reason, for the hope that lies in you, with gentleness and respect. There we find the Christian with head, heart, and hands. We need to resurrect the head of Christ again in biblical Christianity in America.
Mm-hmm. Makes a strong argument.
Yeah.
You know, we have Pastor Rick Boyan, and as you exit your church, there's a sign before you drive out of the parking lot. What's it say?
More like Jesus.
Think like Jesus. Yeah. And so the only thing I can say is that are we thinking, you know, are we just emotionally reacting? And you can't, how can I say this? It goes back to the three questions. Do you really know what you believe? Or are you just parroting what somebody else told you?
Yeah.
Do you believe it? It's in your soul.
Yeah.
And do you know why you believe it? So have you cross-examined it within theology, within your own structure, within your own faith, within your own denominations, if I can say it that way?
Yeah.
And then can you gracefully, not argumentatively, but gracefully defend it? So.
Yeah, well,
the big three.
Gracefully is important because we know we can't argue anybody into the kingdom, can we?
No, you can't. And we're living in a day today where truth has been redefined. Truth is all relative, you know.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But the reason young men are looking and coming to church, they're actually realizing that, hey, we've been lied to, so what is truth? Let's give Christianity a try. And you saw how Charlie Kirk did it.
Yeah, yeah.
He defended truth by facing non-truth head on.
Yes.
In a peaceful, gentle way.
Right. He did it exactly as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Gracefully defending the faith.
Yeah.
And boy, if you watch any of the Charlie Kirk tapes, the videos on YouTube and stuff, especially for folks who weren't familiar with Charlie Kirk before the assassination, boy, people have really been enlightened about what he was about and how he conducted himself,
right,
and through Turning Point USA. So, you know, and we look at the liberalization of the universities in our country. I know that a number of them are under scrutiny from the Trump administration.
For DEI.
For DEI. Do you think they'll move? Do you think this will move them?
Well, Dr. Miller, Corey here, basically said, look, they got slapped down, and they even lost some grants over all this stuff, but they have no intentions of changing, and they haven't removed some of their radical professors. They haven't changed their stripes. They're just at a low right now, and they'll play the game until Trump's out of the office, and then they'll test the next administration. It could be an administration that favors what they do.
Yeah.
Could be another challenge. Who knows? We have to wait and see. But he basically said that they are so radicalized within the soul of these institutions, they have no intention. So the only thing that will ever get these institutions' attention is money. And if parents wake up and don't send their kids to these institutions, and the government keeps pulling grants based upon DEI and other things supposedly that they're, you know, what was the term that they had about enrollment based upon quotas?
Oh, yeah.
And all of that stuff.
Right.
They're still doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? Especially with the rate of college tuitions these days, have you been surprised at all at the amount of grants and handouts from the government to major institutions? It got my attention because we hear about millions and millions of dollars being withheld. I thought, I didn't know they were being given all this money.
Well, it's really, like I say, the only thing that's going to make them change is money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
All right. Well, it's time to feel good about something.
Oh, yeah, we got to have a happy smile.
Well, and this is something we can...
sandwich.
Yeah, well, here's something we can all feel really good about.
Drink.
A young guy who is going the extra mile to honor fallen heroes.
In Chicago, a 10-year-old boy named Liam is proving that heroes are never forgotten, and he's running to make sure of it. Liam is part of Running for Heroes, a nonprofit that organizes 1-mile runs across the country to honor law enforcement officers who've died in the line of duty. Since joining in April, Liam has completed 17 tribute runs, each one dedicated to a fallen officer. Before every run, he learns their story, writes a letter to their family, and carries an American flag the entire mile, followed by a fire truck or police escort. When he finishes, he folds that flag and sends it to the officers' loved ones. This year alone, Kansas lost 4 officers in just 4 months, and Liam has made it his mission to run for each of them. As he puts it, even if they're miles away, I still want to honor them. A young runner keeping the memory of fallen heroes alive, 1 mile at a time.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, some parents are doing a very good job there.
Good stuff all the way around.
Absolutely.
All right, stick around. Albert Ersman is going to be with us. He authored a book called Living with Purpose in a Polarizing World. We'll talk about that. And then Christina Bobb. Now, she was in Mar-a-Lago when it was raided.
Yeah.
And she's an attorney fighting her own things. We'll be talking about that. She worked with President Trump firsthand. And we'll talk about the John Bolton indictment. Where's that? What does that mean and where is it going? So we got some good conversation coming your way. Stick around. Take with you 1 John chapter 3, verse 22. And whatever we ask, we receive from him. Why? Because we keep his commandments and do what pleases him. There is the prerequisite. Are you keeping the commandments today? Are you doing what pleases him? All right. Be safe out there.
Big ideas grow.
The Dove's brand new studio is complete, and you've made it happen. To give you an in-person chance to see this important milestone, the Dove is hosting an open house Wednesday, October 29th from 10 to 1 p.m. at our studios. Hope to see you.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Piercing the darkness with the light of truth. Pathway to Victory with Dr. Robert Jeffress on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. And, being a Christian in today's culture is a full-time job. And at times it can be pretty tough. I'm really honored to have with us today Albert Ehresmann. He is the executive in residence and past director of the Center for Integrity in School of Business, Government, and Economics at Seattle Pacific University. He also teaches at the Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary. He's the co-founder and the executive director, or executive editor, I should say, of the Ethics Magazine, and the co-founder of a new book entitled Living with Purpose in a Polarizing World. And there's a picture of the cover of that book. The website, ethics, ETHIX.org. And there is the picture of the landing page. There he is. All right, Albert, good to see you today. How are you, friend?
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Fascinating. What made you take this on?
It's pretty obvious as we look around among Christians today that our world is divided. Christians are divided. Politics is divided. And the question is, how should we walk as believers in Christ in a world that is this way? That was the big question.
Okay. How are we doing?
Well, we're not doing so well. I think the call of God, from Micah was, what does the Lord require of you? But to seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. This idea of combining justice and mercy, grace and truth, as it came through Jesus Christ, these are the call for us. And I think sometimes rather than holding on to the tension of these things, we like to choose. Am I going to be gracious or am I going to be righteous? And Jesus navigated this world very well and taught us to do the same. And how are we going to do it?
Did you ever think that Christianity would be under attack like it is today?
I didn't. I've lived a long time, which is part of the advantage I have. One of the few advantages of being older is that you've seen a lot. And I've never seen anything quite like what we're dealing with today. So in part, I think it's under attack from the external world. And I think it's also under attack within the Christian community as different people look at things differently, and we want to have our own way.
Our churches, how do I ask this question? Are we prepared for the attack, but moreover, are we preparing true disciples?
Well, I think that's a really good question. In Matthew 28, when Jesus told us that we were to go into all the world and make disciples, he didn't say go into all the world and make converts. He said make disciples, and he went on to say, teaching them to obey all that I have commanded you. And so as we look carefully at Scripture, what it means to be a follower of Jesus, it certainly starts with our conversion. But from there, it is, what does the Lord want us to do in every sphere of life? And I think Jesus had a lot to say about money, politics, behaving in culture, speaking into culture, but not getting consumed by culture, and all of those things. And I think all of that is part of disciple making. And I think we look for shortcuts today. We look for ways to say, is there a path where I can stand for this, 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 and this? And I think taking into account everything that Jesus said is really the call of God for us today.
Do you think we've lost the sense of the holiness of God?
I do, because I think, one of the commandments says, you shall have no other gods before you. Another commandment says, don't take the name of the Lord in vain. When we think about having no other gods before us, we probably think we're pretty innocent in the 20th century, 21st century. but actually the God of money, the God of power, the God of greed, the God of lust. All of these are having other gods before us. And then when we come to not taking the name of the Lord in vain, I think we reduce that to not using God as a curse word. But I think it's actually attributing to God the things that we like instead of looking carefully at what God is calling us to do. And so I think in making disciples, we have to look very seriously at all of those questions. I'm actually doing an adult class at my church on this idea of making disciples. And we are looking at our work, our daily life, our cultural interactions, our money, politics, the whole thing, because Jesus spoke into all of that.
Have we lost conviction of sin?
I think so, in a couple of ways. I think one, we're really good at rationalization. And so sin is often reduced to what the other person does, as opposed to my own sin. I have learned as I've gotten older that sin is a part of the human heart. And I often say, we live in a broken world and we ourselves are broken. And starting with the acknowledgement that it comes from within, as opposed to looking at it out there, I think is a really important first step.
We all want revival, but I'm not sure if we know what we're asking.
Yeah, you've raised a good point, because would revival allow me to hold on to my lifestyle? Yeah. Would revival allow me to live in a peaceful, calm way? One of the motivations that my colleague and I had for writing this book was to ask this question: in very difficult times, how did Esther live out her faith in God in a very foreign, corrupt place? How did Daniel do that? How did Joseph do it? How did Moses do it? And what can we learn from them? You see, in Hebrews 12, it says, seeing that you're surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses, and it's referring back to these Old Testament characters, said, you should run the race marked out for you, looking to Jesus. And so I think we are to learn from these people and how they navigated their culture. And I believe the call of God is, don't get entangled with it, but speak into it. And I think one of the challenges that we face is that we get entangled with our culture and we have difficulty recognizing the brokenness in ourselves and in others.
That's beautiful. So, in some ways, this polarized culture in which we live is not only producing an opportunity, but it also is clearly indicating the clash between good and evil, right and wrong. And a lot of young people are now saying, gosh, we've been lied to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you sense that? Do you see it?
I certainly do. I think that somehow we've replaced the call of walking with Christ with something simpler, the call of living the good life in where we are. And I'm very thankful for where I am. The Lord has given me some opportunities, and I've been in all parts of the world, in 6 continents, talking about some of these issues. And we live in a very different world than others do, but we tend to associate our Christian faith with the world in which we live, as opposed to reflecting deeply on what the Scripture is calling us to do. There's a book that I read that kind of moved me a great deal. It's called misreading Scripture through Western eyes. Somehow or other, we bring our culture into what we understand from the Scripture, and we reduce the Scripture to something simpler than it is. So back to your question, if it was about revival, would our way of life be exactly the same? Probably not. Would we have different goals, different objectives? I hope so. And maybe this is the way that God chooses to reshape us and to be his salt and light in the world, as Jesus said in Matthew 5.
Just sticking with revival for a moment, Professor, I'm interested in it. I read about it. I'm not a professional in it by any means, but there is something that's common, that when genuine revival is broken out in the past, and there's some great histories of that. I'm thinking of primarily the big Welsh revival. There's a common impact at the result of a revival, and that is that truth is reestablished.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We have a lot of things happening today that we're trying to give the title revival to, but nothing changes. They just had a good time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think it's truth, as we could probably sit down and jot down some things that we see wrong with our society. We would probably recognize those pretty quickly. And then there may be some things that we are very comfortable with that God would not be comfortable with in our own lives, and it might expose some of those too. You know, I think about the way we tend to divide in our world, and sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking, well, greed is okay because that's the way you get ahead in a capitalistic world. But this particular moral issue is not okay because the Scripture speaks against it. But if we step back and look, we probably would get caught in some things that we have normalized. Mm-hmm. And that's, I hope we're ready for that. And I hope we're willing to say to God, do whatever you want in our lives.
Yeah. Let me take a break, because you identify 5 common responses believers use to navigate through the complexity of our culture. I want you to get into that. Let me see our viewers and listeners. Professor Erisman's book is entitled Living with a Purpose in a Polarizing World. There's a picture of the cover of the book. Where can they get that?
It's Amazon, Christian Books. There are a few bookstores that might have it. I think you can order it through Barnes & Noble. So,
okay, and his website is ethics.org, ETHIX.org. There's a picture of the landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. The most challenging things that happens when you're doing interviews is you interview somebody that their answer is yes, no, yes, no. Those are very, very difficult to do, and you hope it's over real soon. Then you have those that you ask a question to, and they just go on and on and on. I mean, you could literally leave the set, go out and have a hamburger, and come back, and they're still answering the question.
Focus Today, weekdays at 8 on the Dove Radio and TV.
Looking for the perfect RV adventure?
Team Toner's got you covered, from homes to homes on wheels.
Discover unbeatable deals only at American RV in Southern Oregon.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Welcome back. What an honor to have with us today Albert Ehresmann. He's executive in residence and past director of the Center for the Integrity and School of Business, Government, and Economics at Seattle Pacific University. He also teaches at the Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary. He is a co-founder and executive editor of Ethics Magazine, and his new book is entitled Living with Purpose in a Polarizing World. There's a picture of the cover of the book that is available Amazon and online. ETHIX.org is his website, ethics.org. Oh, Professor, you're amazing. I could talk to you for hours, but I only got a few minutes left, so we'll get you back. You mentioned that you identify 5 common responses believers use to navigate through the complexity of this culture. What are they, if you can give them to us briefly?
Sure. The first one is assimilation. People just say, okay, this is the way the world is, so I will act like the world does on Monday through Friday, and then I'll go to church on Sunday. And it's a divided world. And a second one is basically withdrawal from culture. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. It's broken, it's evil, and so I'm going to stay away. A third one is fear. What is happening to our world, and how am I going to get along? And furthermore, what about my kids and my grandkids? And then seeking power, this idea that, well, we can solve this if we can put the right people in the right places to dictate how our society would work. And the last one is just anger, and I think we see a lot more anger today than I've ever seen. Anger that breaks out within families, within communities, within churches. This is the way to solve it. And, you know, if you analyze each of these a little bit, you'll begin to see that the way of Jesus was not any of these ways. Jesus engaged in the world, but he didn't withdraw from it, but he didn't get entangled in it either. And his disciples pushed him to seek power, and he said that's not the way of the world we are called to serve. We are called to be light and salt in the world where we are. And so we've been given another way, and another way is characterized by seeking justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly. And it's pictured by so many of the narratives. If we read through the narratives of Scripture, we begin to see people that acted differently. And if you don't mind, I'd like to focus on just one.
Sure.
Put yourself in the position of Daniel. You're probably 16, 17 years old. You've been hauled away to captivity. You had a responsible family and a good future where you were. And your tendency would be to sulk and to say, this is all wrong. This isn't fair. I don't belong here. I belong back at home. And instead, in that first chapter, you see Daniel engaged in conversation. You see him taking classes in history, language, religion of the day. And he did that very well. God was preparing him for a role that he would have in influence, never through power, in the various kingdoms that he supported there in Babylon. And one of the things that jumped out at me as I reread that first chapter, I'd always thought about Daniel taking this very powerful stand, and I'd learned a song as a child, dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, dare to make it known. But if you look carefully at what he did, he empathized with the guard that was overseeing their training. And when the guard said it would be my head if you guys didn't turn out well, he said, look, could we try doing it another way? And if that doesn't work out, we'll go with you. And his language, his care, represented his God. You see the same thing in Joseph, hauled away to Egypt. And yet he could have been upset with his brothers when he was there. And instead, the scripture says, Potiphar put him in charge of everything in his house and trusted him with everything.
Yeah.
He obviously decided that this was his assignment. He would get to work and do it honorably before his God. And you see this repeated over and over again in these narratives of Scripture.
Okay.
So I think this is a call for us.
That's beautiful. A little bit of a sidebar question, Professor. How did you handle and process the Charlie Kirk assassination?
It's, on the one hand, it's very, very painful. It's all wrong. He should have been allowed to say what he said. He had a wonderful testimony. On the other hand, and he was young, and I think he was learning, but on the other hand, I think there were places where he probably got very strident. I don't justify any bad behavior toward him because of that, but I think the call of God for us would be to demonstrate the love of Christ to those around us, and he did that so beautifully in so many circumstances. And then sometimes he would be very antagonistic. And I hope he had some people around him who said, I love your passion, but can we represent Christ in a more humble way? You know, we are called over and over again to humility. Read the Beatitudes carefully and you'll see, blessed are the poor in spirit. The humility is the opening line for us. The Micah text, walk humbly before God. I think that sometimes as Christians, we can get caught up in the culture of power, and we can say we're going to impose our way on others as opposed to demonstrate our way to others. And so I'm very pained and very saddened, and it's all wrong. And yet God somehow allowed this. And what do we learn from it? What can we learn about seeking justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly?
Well said. To that point, do you think we're too fixed on winning the argument and fixing the problem than just finding our place and representing Christ?
I do. I think that we somehow believe that if we were, and that's the one of the five that I had mentioned, this idea of seeking power. I think we have this notion among Christians that if we get the right person in the right place to pass the right laws, that everything will be fine. And I don't think it's a matter of law. I think the whole Scripture is teaching us about that. How do we, as the people of God, live in the world where God has placed us in a way that would honor Him and that would point to a better and different way? This is the call of God for His people Israel all throughout the Old Testament. And it's the call of God and Jesus in particular in the Beatitudes. And as He laid out, here's how I want you to live among others so that they may, as Jesus said, see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Does the world really associate kindness, long-suffering, patience, think about the fruit of the Spirit with Christians today? I think that's a good question for all of us.
Had the honor to have Dr. George Barna on this program quite often, and I've watched his countenance change as he went from researching. At one point we had an 8% biblical worldview in America. It's declined down to 3 and 4%. So it looks like Christianity could be on the decline in the West, but there are pockets of hope. What do you think?
Well, I think that there are a lot of young people, and I've been reading about young men in particular that seem to have been be seeking God again in this country, and that's a sign of encouragement, sign of hope. That's really good. But I think the call of God for all of us is, how are we going to live before this watching world? I remember a cartoon from the time I was much younger. It was on the cover of a Christian magazine, and it showed a butcher, obviously a Christian. He had a one-way sticker. You remember those? Big smile on his face. His hand was pointing up toward the sky, and on the corner of the scale, he had his thumb. He was living this dual life of representing Christ and doing what he could to advance his own cause. Wow. And I do think that maybe has characterized us more than we believe. And I start with myself. And I think that it's easy to start with others, but I have to start with myself. Am I living before the watching world in a way that shows people what true Christianity is all about? And I think if we took that seriously, I think it would change our world. But I think Christianity has become some labels, some expected behavior that is at times rude, often dictatorial, often judgmental. And I just don't think that that's what Christ has called us to.
Well said. All right, a few seconds left. What do you want people to get from your book? What do you want the takeaway to be?
I'd like them to realize they're not alone, that throughout history, people have been struggling with this idea of how do we represent God in the world where he has chosen to place us. I was corresponding with someone yesterday. We live in a world of artificial intelligence. How do we think about that? Do we react with fear, or do we say, what is God calling us to in this world? Because we are in the 21st century for a reason. I want people to stop pining for old days. I want them to embrace where we are. And then I want them to think, what does this mean for us today as we live for Christ in the world where he has us?
All right, the book is entitled Living with Purpose in a Polarizing World, there by Albert Ehresmann. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen. You can also check out his website, ethics.org, ETHIX.org. There's the website. Professor, you're inspiring and quite a guy. Can we get you back?
I'd love to come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a joy to be here.
Thanks for your time. God bless you.
The Dove's brand new studio is complete, and you've made it happen. To give you an in-person chance to see this important milestone, the Dove is hosting an open house Wednesday, October 29th from 10 to 1 p.m. at our studios. Hope to see you.
Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. There are incredible nonprofits out there that accept cars just like me. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy. The pickup is free. And your gift is tax-deductible.
Woohoo! The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available.
It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Okay, welcome back, and been looking forward to having back with us today Christina Bobb. We had her before, and really just an amazing person. Attorney in Washington, D.C., former TV host and author of Defiant: Inside the Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare. She began her legal career in the United States Marine Corps. Following her military service, she transitioned to private service, and after the 2020 election, she joined President Donald Trump's legal team to focus on election integrity for the 2024 election. And during that election cycle, she joined the RNC Election Integrity Section and senior counsel to ensure the president's victory. She does have a website, ChristinaBobb.com. There's a picture of the landing page. And she still has her own legal challenges. We'll talk about that. So, Christina, good to see you again. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. How are you doing with your own battles?
Well, I mean, it's going well, but they're still there. They still exist. My case in Arizona is the only one remaining. I'm co-defendants in that criminal case with Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, John Eastman, Jeff Clark, the whole shebang. It's falling apart, but the prosecutors are still trying.
Okay. Well, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Hang in there.
Thank you.
You'll get on the other side. This topic of former ambassador and then, of course, National Intelligence Director John Bolton's indictment is pretty amazing. Yeah. This kind of got everybody's brain on tilt. How serious is this?
Well, it's very significant. I mean, they're accusing him of basically leaking classified information. It's unlawful retention, 18 counts of unlawful retention, and I believe there's disclosure because he was disclosing it to unidentified individuals, but they appear to be family members or someone very close to him. 18 counts. A lot of the information, at least what's listed in the indictment, says that some of it was top secret, which is the highest security classification outside of different compartmentalizations. So it's far more serious than anything they charged Donald Trump with in the Mar-a-Lago matter. The Mar-a-Lago matter was 100%, all 39 counts against Donald Trump were specifically focused on his conduct with the Department of Justice, meaning obstruction of justice, or they said that he or his team was lying to the Department of Justice. Nothing ever accused him of actually disseminating or providing classified materials to anybody. That's different than what's happening with John Bolton. John Bolton is accused of that. So yeah, it's pretty significant.
Would a person in his position normally have classified information after leaving office?
Well, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to take it outside of a SCIF, a secured classified information facility. Apparently he did. I want to be careful here because it's probably not uncommon. I would imagine that a lot of former officials have it. We saw it with Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden had it, and then Mike Pence had it, and everyone was pretty much like, yeah, well, we know you all have it. They were just trying to trap Donald Trump. So they're not supposed to. There are very clear guidelines on how classified material is supposed to be handled and kept, and clearly those have been violated. I think the particularly concerning situation here is that he was intentionally disseminating it on his way out of office. And to the extent that he put it in his book, he made millions of dollars off of doing that. So that's a little bit concerning too. Making money off of disclosing classified information is not good.
Was that the tip off? The book? I mean, that's where
I
they
believe
begin
so.
to connect the dots.
I think so. I mean, it happened when his book was first coming out. And I believe at that time, the Trump team pushed back and said, no, this is classified material. You can't publish this. And the judge sided against them, saying, he can do whatever he wants. And if he is going to get charged criminally later, that's up to him. And he did publish it, and now he's charged criminally. So I don't think this is surprising to anybody, but I do think the book was the first thing that tipped them off. But I can't confirm that.
Some people say, or I don't know all the facts, but some things said that he actually posted on AOL his counts, some of the stuff that he had. I mean, he actually transferred it that way. Was he that stupid?
That, according to the indictment, I believe that's accurate. I think he was basically emailing it to people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just a little bit further background. What happened to him? I mean, he was a pro-Trumper and then an anti-Trumper. What happened?
Well, I don't know that he was ever a pro-Trumper. Yes, he was the national security advisor, but that was President Trump's first term. President Trump was just getting into politics, didn't really understand the differences between politics and business, and politics is its own ball of wax. Clearly, President Trump is much more sophisticated in that now. I don't think John Bolton was ever really pro-America first. He's always been a war hawk. We all know, it's no secret, that there are a lot of Republicans who did not want Donald Trump into the political landscape because he changed the game. Donald Trump really was kind of airing America's grievances for the world to see, and the American people loved him for it. And that's how he gained so much in popularity, was he was really resonating with the common man, the everyday man. And you have a lot of elites here in Washington, D.C., Democrats and Republicans, that don't want that game changed. And I think John Bolton falls into that camp, as Jim Comey does as well. Jim Comey's a Republican.
Yeah, I want to come back to that. But just finishing this off a little bit, some of the criticism is that this is reverse lawfare, weaponization against an opponent. How do you process that?
Well, as a criminal defendant myself at the moment, I'm not shedding any tears for anybody. They opened this door. And now they have to walk through it. I don't believe in tit for tat, slitting everybody's throats just because you can. But the left in particular, I shouldn't even say the left because that's not really accurate. It's those opposing the America First movement, which for the most part is the left, but Republicans are on that side as well, as John Bolton is. They're really hurting the American people. And they have made it so clear that they are not going to stop until they are stopped. And the tool that Donald Trump has to stop them is criminal prosecution. So they knew this when they opened this door. They knew they were taking a risk. They just thought they were going to win. They thought they were going to be able to shut it down and control it. And they were wrong. And so now they're going, oh, woe is me, woe is me. They opened this door. They walked through it. And Donald Trump is now going to shut it, but they have to get prosecuted first.
All right. So another one, you mentioned it briefly there, the James Comey case. This is kind of interesting. Some say it's very weak case. What do you think?
I don't think it's weak at all. He lied to Congress. He was under oath. His testimony is recorded. It's transcribed. It's on the record what he said. The defense, I suppose, would be he didn't know he was lying, or he didn't know he was wrong. He wasn't lying. He was just wrong. But I don't know how he could not know that he was the one who authorized leaks. You have other testimony from other witnesses that said that it was Jim Comey who authorized these leaks. And I mean, I don't know how you square that up. Is there reasonable doubt that they're confused about that? I think it's pretty clear cut and straightforward. If there's a weakness, it's the fact that it's in Northern Virginia, and you might have a jury pool. All he needs is one juror. He doesn't have to win unanimously. Lindsay Halligan, the prosecutor, she's got to win unanimously, or I should say the U.S. attorney. So all he needs is one juror that thinks it's stupid and this isn't a thing, that can nullify the whole thing. So I think that's the most concerning part of it. But I think the facts of the case speak for themselves. And I think that it's pretty clear cut.
Is there a statute of limitation on this one?
Well, there was, which was why they hurried up to file it. They filed in time. They may bring superseding indictments with adding other charges that have a longer statute. So they did meet their statute of limitations requirement, but just barely, I think by like a day or two.
Is this primary perjury? I mean, is it a perjury case, lying to Congress? Is that what this is about?
Yeah, it's lying under oath, intentionally lying, misleading Congress when he was the director of the FBI.
What do you think?
I think it is serious. I mean, Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon both went to jail for 4 months for much, much less than this. They went to prison because they said that the subpoena that they received was unlawful. And so they weren't going to honor the subpoena because they said, I mean, they had several different arguments, and ultimately, I think they were right. They were proven right, but they still had to go to prison anyway. So what Jim Comey did, he actually agreed to comply with the subpoena and then lied, which is far worse than what Peter Navarro or Steve Bannon did. So I think this is very serious. They get a change of venue? Well, I think I don't know why they would. I mean, the government would I'm sure the government would love to bring the case in Florida, but no, you can't do that. I believe that the issue is Comey was living in Northern Virginia at the time. Congress obviously is in Washington, D.C. The difference in venue, if they wanted to change it to Washington, D.C., they probably could. But I mean, it's largely the same jury pool. So I don't know that there's a whole lot of reason to do that. But I suppose they could if they tried.
So where is it now? I mean, what do they do now? They go into depositions. What do they do now?
Right. So it's the criminal case. The next thing that the defense attorney has said they're doing is they're bringing motions to dismiss. They want to try to disqualify Lindsay Halligan, who's the U.S. attorney who brought the charges. I don't think that's going to go very far. They have said that they're going to file a motion to dismiss, saying that this is selective prosecution, that it's only being brought to torment political opponents. So that case, that's going to be argued. I'm sure they're in the process. The prosecutors are disclosing the evidence to Comey's team, what they have, if there's any witnesses that they're going to be using, who's cooperating. All of that stuff is going to go back and forth. There will probably be several hearings on, evidence, what can be used and what can't be used. But I think the very next step is the defense trying to get the case thrown out.
Okay. One other quick high-profile case today, as a matter of fact, Lisa James goes before the judge for mortgage fraud. What do you think about this one?
This one is so ironic. It's almost sweet. The fact that she charged Donald Trump for basically the same thing. But the banks testified in behalf of Donald Trump, said, no, this wasn't fraud. We weren't defrauded. We weren't harmed in any way. We actually would do business with them again. We thought it was a good deal. So there were no victims here. I don't think the bank's going to be testifying on behalf of Letitia James in this one, but who knows? I just think it's sweet justice that she's being charged with crimes she actually did commit. And it happens to be the same thing that she falsely accused Donald Trump of.
So how serious is mortgage fraud?
Oh, I think it's serious. It's serious enough for the federal government to say it's a crime. Mm-hmm. It's really designed to protect banks because you don't want a bunch of people failing on their mortgages and then the banks fail. In theory, her mortgage wasn't millions of dollars. I believe it was like $100,000, $200,000, something like that. But I think the more concerning aspect of this is that she's an attorney general. She's prosecuting people for this crime in New York, or prosecutors under her are doing that. And so the bigger issue is that we have apparently two tiers of justice. You've got the political class who can do whatever they want with no consequences. And then you have the rest of us. So I think it does a very good job of letting the political class know we are ending the two tiers of justice, and you're going to be held to account the same way everybody else is.
If she's found guilty, what happens?
Well, she'll be fined, certainly. She'll have to go to sentencing, whether she gets jail time or, we'll have to see what the court wants to do with that. If she's still in office at the time, that creates problems too. So we'll have to see how the court handles that.
All right, got some more questions for you. Let me take a quick break. Check out Christina's book, Defiant, Inside of the Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Leftist Ongoing Lawfare. There's a picture of the cover of the book. Very fascinating. She was there inside Mar-a-Lago when the raid occurred. She does have her own website, ChristinaBobb.com, and there's a picture of the landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I have been at the Dove for 23 years, but actually 24 because I started on the Dove with a little syndicated worship program that I did for about a year before I was asked to come on the air. So 23 years on the Dove itself as far as working for the Dove, and 24 years total. My, how time flies.
The Dove Radio, celebrating 65 years.
Men of Southern Oregon, we are thrilled to announce that our next Game Changers, we are bringing in author and speaker Lee Strobel. If you're not familiar with Lee Strobel, he wrote The Case for Faith, The Case for Christ. He is the man behind the movie The Case for Christ, and he's got a new book out called Seeing the Supernatural. Recently, he's been featured on The Sean Ryan Show. He's been featured on Tucker Carlson. A lot of his books address big questions that believers have, and even the unbelieving world, about heaven, about Jesus. Can we trust the resurrection? He was formerly an atheist, and through his research, he came to the faith. I'm super excited for you guys to experience Game Changers at Edgewater Christian Fellowship with Lee Strobel. Get signed up. It's November 2nd, 6 p.m. God bless you guys.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Welcome back, and it's such an honor to have back with us today Christina Bobb. She's an attorney there in Washington, D.C. and a former TV host. She wrote a book, quite a book. It's called Defiant: Inside Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare. She was there when that raid occurred. There's a picture of the cover of the book. She does have a website, ChristinaBobb.com. Christina, how would you define lawfare today? Is it ongoing? Oh, we don't have your volume. There you go. There you go.
You hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead. Okay. All right.
I think you can identify lawfare by the desired outcome. And if you're bringing a case for just reasons, the outcome of the case matters. You want justice. But when you're bringing lawfare for other reasons, you're bringing a lawsuit because you want to take your political campaign your political opponent off the campaign trail, defame him, throw him in prison. You want to defame his supporters, or you want to harass his supporters, or you want to scare people out of supporting him. Those are reasons you bring lawfare cases, which means the outcome of the case doesn't really matter. You have another objective with bringing the case. And that's what we saw with Jack Smith. They didn't care what the outcome of the case was. They just wanted to get him off the campaign trail. They wanted people to believe he was a criminal. They wanted people to be scared to support him. Same thing they're doing with my case is they want people to be scared to support conservative, values, conservative political positions. And so that's why they're bringing the case. So that's how I think you can tell. Does the outcome of the case matter? Or does something else about the case matter more?
Well said. All right, given all that, isn't it amazing that he's won them all? He's still standing and he got reelected? What does that tell you?
I think it's pretty miraculous that he survived all of it, that he's in office. He's doing well. I think it's a very good sign. And I think it goes to show the American people understand a lot more than the elites have given us credit for. They think they can just say what they want and Americans will just consume it. And that does happen a lot on some level. But the fact that Donald Trump still won goes to show the American people aren't buying it anymore. They're doing their own research. They're listening to alternative sources of media. They're getting their information from other sources besides the big news outlets. And I think that in and of itself is a really good sign. It means the centralized media, the centralized narrative is falling apart.
What did you think, and how are you processing the Charlie Kirk assassination?
I think it's tragic. I think it's horrible. I think being honest, I think there's a lot of questions surrounding that and what happened with that need to be answered. I appreciate the fact that law enforcement jumped to try to figure something out and provide a solution for the American people. I want to make sure it's right and correct, not just comfortable. So I've got a lot of questions surrounding that I hope law enforcement look into very carefully. But I mean, I don't know what to say about his situation other than it was just horribly, horribly tragic.
Why haven't we heard more about the assassin at Butler, Pennsylvania, and the one at the golf course?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that, but it does concern me, probably the same way it concerns many people, is what is our government telling us? Now, President Trump is in office, so I'm not as surprised that they're not releasing plans on how someone tried to kill him before, because the last thing you want is someone improving on those plans, right? You don't want to give anybody ideas. So that doesn't surprise me as much. But yeah, I have questions too.
The left seems to be going, and I don't know how else to describe it other than crazy. I've often said it looks like they have a leak in all four tires. I mean, they're slowly winding down. And one of the extreme things that they have done was that they called the Charlie Kirk Memorial a Nazi rally. It seems like the left is really gone crazy, especially during this shutdown where there's so many little things on the table that they could have done and yet still negotiate a settlement, like paying people and stuff like that. They have gone completely crazy.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but what do you think of it? What do you think of it?
I think it's pretty outrageous. I think celebrating anyone's death is pretty horrific, especially someone like Charlie Kirk, who was he wanted open debate. That's all he wanted. He wanted open debate. I do think the left I think Trump derangement syndrome is a very real thing. I think they claim to be the party of love, but in reality, they hate more than anybody else I've ever met in my life. And it seems to be, in my opinion, kind of a small group of radicals. I don't think the normal, everyday Democratic Americans feel that way, but the crazy people that you're talking about seem to get a lot more airtime than the rest of us. And I think that is very concerning. There are people who hate this country. There are people who want to see this country divided, and they're using some radical, crazy people to kind of stir confusion in our nation. And it's really, really dangerous. And unfortunately, the people who are funding it and fueling it and promoting it are in very powerful positions in this country.
I've often said they get an A+ and blaming us for what they're doing. And what's happening now is that their rhetoric is creating such civil unrest and even a potential insurrection with the full intent of blaming the right for it.
Yeah.
The danger of that is we lose a country in the middle of this. Do you think we understand that?
I don't think anybody alive today has any idea what the future holds for this country. I mean, I feel like, even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you could say, oh yeah, America's going to be about here in 10 years. And I don't think anyone knows right now, because there are so many powerful people and nations and companies and individuals that have really specific interests in seeing America thrive or seeing the downfall of America. And, this isn't a two-front war, if I can say it that way, or a battle. It's not right versus left. It's media versus pharmaceutical versus global economics versus climate act. Like, all of those issues are a different front with billionaires behind them, nations behind them, with different agendas. And so this is a very complex, multi-front assault on America, internally as well as externally, that I don't know how it's going to shake out. I definitely think we're being weighed. We're hanging in the balance.
The fly in the ointment for the left is the faith community. Mm-hmm. And the rise of the attack or against religious freedom, Christians in particular, is an all-time high. But at the end of the day, that's the answer. Where do you think we are with that?
With faith?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing everything they can to dismantle the Christian way of life, not just through churches or a true religion, but families. I mean, they are attacking families. They want to do away with, a mother and father controlling their children, raising their children in the way that they see fit. I think the fact that they're attacking families so directly, I think proves your point, because it's in families where we gain our strength through faith. And I'm not trying to throw shade on churches at all, because churches have their role, but it really comes from family and people that you do family with, and that they're attacking that very, very aggressively.
One last question back to Mar-a-Lago. Has the purpose of the raid been pretty much wiped out?
Well, it wasn't for whatever they claimed that it was. They claimed that they were trying to recover classified documents that Donald Trump wasn't allowed to have. Well, first of all, they don't have authority to do that. And they never had probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago. The fact that they got a warrant from a judge only goes because the judge was conflicted out. The judge just a few weeks prior recused himself, saying he was conflicted, he couldn't be impartial in the Trump-Clinton case, so he recused himself. And that's the judge that signed the warrant, who, by his own admission, was partial and could not be impartial. But they never had probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago. And I think they were looking for a crime, whether it was, recovering Crossfire Hurricane or whatever. They wanted to frame Donald Trump for a crime that they had no evidence of, and ultimately never did get any evidence of. Even after raiding Mar-a-Lago, there was no crime.
Okay. We're losing your video there. All right, so let me tell you to our viewers and listeners, check out Christina's book. It's called Defiant: Inside Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Less Ongoing Lawfare. There's a picture of the cover of the book. Pretty fascinating. She was there when it happened. And then her website is ChristinaBobb.com. Christina, thank you. You're fascinating. Thoughts and prayers as you continue your own battle there in Arizona. When do you think you'll go to trial?
Well, thankfully, I don't think we're going to trial. The indictment's been thrown out. The judge has said that the prosecutors failed with the grand jury. So there's nothing to try at this case, but the judge is just allowing the prosecutors to keep the case open for now. So thankfully, I don't think I'm going to trial. I'm hoping the case is dismissed shortly.
Good for you. Hey, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye. I saw an opportunity to take the news and combine it with a Christian format. In listening to Christian media and radio, I thought, well, why should those people leave that radio station to go somewhere else to get informed, to get the weather and get the news, and then hopefully they'd come back during the day. So we created the format where we do a live 3-hour morning news talk inspiration